Hello, 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 Chad. We are live and it is day 3 of UzChess with the feel. And we are live. हमारे पास फिर से धमाकेदार मैचअप्स हैं. And to be honest, भाई, day 3 के matchups are absolutely fire. Let's have a look. First of all, we have Shakhriyar Mamidyarov वर्सेस अर्जुन एरिगेसी. अर्जुन ने कल क्या ही विन करी याकूबोव के साथ, मतलब बिल्कुल धो डाला. एंड अगर वो आज जीते हैं, he will jump from world number 9 to world number 6. सीधा छलांग, मतलब 9-6 भाई, 9-6. एक नया नंबर ट्रेंड होने वाला है चैट अमंग द जेन जी. सो बड़ा मजा आएगा. एंड नाइट एफसी खेलते हुए ममिद्यारोव यहाँ पे ऑफ कोर्स लंदन सिस्टम की तैयारी हो सकती है, या फिर इवन C4 ही कैन ट्रांसपोज. तो बड़ा मजा आएगा भाई. आज की ये गेम विल बी सुपर सुपर शार्प. And let's not forget, Vidit, after suffering in the first two games, has a golden opportunity. He's playing none other than NODIRBEK Abdusattarov, the world number 4, world number 5, arguably the strongest player in this tournament, the best in form. क्या विदित आज ऑन डिमांड कम बैक कर पाएंगे? आई थिंक दिस इज द गेम. इफ ही विंस, पिछली दोनों गेम भुलाना विल बी लाइक अ मैटर ऑफ दिस, लाइक अ मैटर ऑफ स्नैपिंग योर फिंगर्स. ये गेम इज सुपर सुपर क्रूशियल. ही हैज द वाइट पीसेस. ही इज ऑलरेडी इन अ मेन लाइन सेटअप जहां पे थ्योरी उनको पता होगी काफी हद तक. एंड मोर इंपॉर्टेंटली, थोड़ा प्रैक्टिस ही हैज अंडर हिज बेल्ट नाउ. होपफुली he will not falter in time pressure. Time pressure में नहीं जाना है. Queen C2, by the way, I love that move. Usually you want to keep things very solid. You want to avoid damage to your pawn structure. कल खुद नेपो ने निम्जो खेला था उनके अगेंस्ट एंड ही प्लेड E3, बट विदित चूजेस द सॉलिड चॉइस क्वीन C2. सो आई थिंक विदित राती ऑन पॉइंट. मतलब C5 खेल दिया है. और डायनामिक लाइन यहाँ पे D takes C5 यूजुअली बेस्ट चाल होती है. देन ब्लैक कैन टेक विच बिशप, नाइट A6 भी ला सकते हैं. व्हाइट विल प्ले नाइट F3, बिशप F4, G5, E3, बिशप E2, कैसल्स, एंड देन रुक D1, A3, B4. ये लंबे प्लान है. मूव्स लगभग फिक्स्ड होते हैं, बट किसी ना किसी मूव ऑर्डर में जरूर आएंगे. बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट गेम. विदित कैन नॉट अफोर्ड टू लूज दिस. ही इज बिलो 2700 फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम since January 2019. It's been what 7 years now for him. So hopefully आज वो quickly rating gain करेंगे and he will be back where he belongs. World number 4 सामने खेल रहे हैं. Meanwhile, Castles, going back to Arjun's game, क्या चल रहा है वहां पे? Okay, we have a typical Queen's Gambit decline. यहाँ Bishop F4 setup के साथ Castles, यहाँ White usually खेलता है E3, and then Black has multiple ways. Black can play C5 in some cases, Black can play B6 in some cases, Black can play Knight D7. So multiple choices. I personally prefer B6 यहाँ पे, instantly trying to solve the problem of this Bishop on C8, but Black has multiple ways to play this. Of course, white is slightly better because उनके दोनों बिशप काफी कैजुअली डेवलप्ड है, बट ब्लैक धीरे धीरे करके इक्वलाइज कर देगा. जो चैट, एक बार जितने भी लोग चैट में हैं, एक बार सब लोग हाई लिख दो. लव टू हैव यू ऑल टुडे. बड़ा मजा आएगा भाई आज. आई थिंक आज के मैचअप्स आर क्रेजी. देखो टाइटल में भी हमने आज पहले लिखते हैं अर्जुन विदित नोदिबेक इन एक्शन. आज हमने लाइनअप लिखी है भाई. दैट टेल्स यू कि आज की लाइनअप, आज के मैचअप्स आर क्रेजी. आज बहुत इनसेन मैचअप्स है भाई. Yo, Vidit will go down below Hari if he loses today. Really? Is that true? Has Hari gained some rating? I don't think so. He will go below Hari actually. No, Hari is 2676. Arvind is 2677. So even if it loses, he'll still be like above, 2695 or something. So not really, but I do get your point. He's falling below 2700, continuously. So I think वो नहीं होना चाहिए. We want him to do better. Please go Arjun game today. No, I think we will look at both. I think दोनों crucial है. Let's not forget कि he's playing NODIRBEK. Yeah, VD is playing NODIRBEK. आज की game उनकी बहुत crucial actually. Whether you agree with it or not, I think आज बहुत crucial है. दोनों game को equal attention देंगे. But for now, I think Arjun की opponent क्या खेलते हैं is more important because Mamidyarov is also in great shape. Plays E3 and Arjun यहाँ C5 के लिए opt करते हैं. The most dynamic and the direct line instantly trying to solve the problem of this pawn. Bishop यहाँ पे कभी ना कभी खुलेगा. Bishop takes मारेंगे. Then Rook C1, Queen C2, Bishop D3 खेलेंगे White. देखते कैसे गेम बढ़ती है आगे. Vidit, please आज जीतेगा. Let's hope so for the same भाई. वही उम्मीद है. What's the apt rating of Vidit? I think around 2720 is pretty apt. 2710. Although we have also seen some rating deflation. Like apart from Magnus, कोई भी अभी 2800 के ऊपर नहीं है, which is not normal. So maybe I think 2700, 2710 also might feel appropriate. But of course, 2698 is definitely with it being underrated. But yeah, I mean, if with it practices again, I think he's been out of play for a while. I think he belongs to be around 2750 for sure. इसमें कोई doubt ही नहीं है. With it playing like school kid, नहीं नहीं भाई, I think he defended very well. I think the problem was time pressure. Time pressure उन्होंने handle नहीं किया. I think it's very tough for anybody and especially for somebody जो out of practice है. So आज टाइम प्रेशर में फॉल ही नहीं करना है भाई. अगर हमें ट्रैफिक में गाड़ी चलानी नहीं आती जैसे मुझे, तो मत चलाओ गाड़ी. सिंपल, ट्रैफिक में जाओ ही मत. सिंपल सोल्यूशन है भाई. सो सेम वे फॉर विदित, इफ ही स्ट्रगलिंग इन टाइम प्रेशर, लेट्स नॉट गो इनटू टाइम प्रेशर भाई. नोदिबेक शुड गेट विद इट इन टाइम टू विन एग्जैक्टली, एंड दैट्स व्हाई विद का तेज खेलना बहुत जरूरी है आज. एंड बाय द वे, लेट्स नॉट फॉरगेट बाकी भी 3 मैचअप्स हैं. निकोलस वर्सेस इयान. इयान कैसे खेलेंगे बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग रहेगा. वोकिदो वर्सेस मुखीदीन. मुखीदीन बाय द वे इज 2-on-2. सिंदारोव के सेकंड कल भी गेम जीत गए. सो ही इज लीडिंग द इवेंट राइट नाउ भाई. क्या ही ओपनिंग प्रेप लेके आते हैं बंदे, क्रेजी है. एंड देन याकुबो वर्सेस हैंस टीमन आर द अदर 3 games, बट हमारा फोकस मेजॉरिटी is going to be on Vidit versus NODIRBEK. By the way, we have the move knight to a6. And yeah, white has 2 ways to play. He can usually play g3 yahan pe. This is what I think one of my coaches taught me way back. Yes, g3, bishop g2, knight c5, castles. And then of course, a3, b4 is in the air to attack this bishop. Black bishop bhi de dega. And then he will play knight to e4, gaining a tempo on the queen. And long term, of course, d5 is black's plan. And he's playing for initiative versus the bishop pair. But I like this for white. I think white ke paas bishop pair rehta hai. Structurally, he's fine. So no issues there whatsoever. So going back to the game of knights have played, by the way, going to Arjun G's game, has his opponent played? Yes. After e3 c5 मार दिया उन्होंने, and now not bishop c5 instantly. He first plays the unique move knight to c6. By the way, आज तक ये चेस कॉम पे लगभग 4000 गेम्स में खेला गया है और लगभग 3500 गेम में ये मारा है. सिर्फ 150 गेम में नाइट c6 खेला गया है. सो अर्जुन ऑलरेडी ट्राइंग टू कंफ्यूज मैटर्स हियर. How to look at players playing 9 days without rest, brother? That's the power, bhai. That's the skill. To keep up the energy and the enthusiasm. I think I love chess, man. I think I've stayed without chess for multiple years in my life, and I was in absolute misery during those days, my college days and then work days. So now that I'm बोलते हैं ना वो कौन सा वो रणछोड़ डायलॉग आता है, वो कहता है सर सब बचपन में सपना था इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में पढ़ूं, आज यहाँ हूं तो मजा आ रहा है. वही फीलिंग है भाई, सेम फीलिंग. नॉडी, यस आ गया नॉडी विदित की रेटिंग लेने के लिए, बट नहीं देंगे भाई, हम नहीं देंगे. वीडियो अपोनेंट के घर में ये क्या, मतलब ये क्या लेम जो है कौशिक भाई, मतलब व्हाट इज दिस भाई. आपको 2 बैन तो बनते हैं कम से कम. इतनी बार लिख दिया भाई, ओ माय गॉड. इसको तो भाई बैन बनता ही है. 1 मिनट बहुत कम है भाई, बीइंग वेरी जेनरस. I think kudos to VD for handling yesterday's Nepo prep for so long during time crunch. Yeah, I think he handled it very well. I think he came back also spectacularly, but last minute time ही नहीं बचा. So I think today no time pressure. I think that's very important to handle for VD. So meanwhile यहाँ पे सोचते हुए I think MAMEDYAROV, I think plan simple होना चाहिए. Black has played knight c6. So if you play bishop e2, basically he's waiting कि आप bishop develop करो, then he will take, and आपने एक चाल waste कर दी because मारना पड़ेगा. So simple चाल है c takes d5. That's the simple move for white here. Let's say knight takes, and depends. Black जैसी मार, let's say e takes d5 मारते हैं. यहाँ पे he can play bishop d3, rook c1, and castle. Black को ये pawn मिलेगा, but he will have the isolated pawn on d5 and some pressure for white. I think very, very typical chess play. But because this is rare, I think यहाँ पे Shaq is kind of recalibrating. होता है ना गूगल मैप्स में जाते हो कि भाई मुझे यहाँ जाना है, then you गलती से take a left, कुछ surprising आ जाए, मान लो रास्ता ब्लॉक्ड है, then it recalibrates. Same way Shaq is recalibrating right now कि भाई how does the position change now? Does Arjun have a new idea? What can he play in the next few moves that will surprise me? So ये चल रहा है अभी उनके दिमाग में. Can we show the standings? बिल्कुल भाई. Can we show the standings if it's possible? That would be nice. And नहीं भाई, मैं लेटा नहीं हूं. And there is the standings chat. Arjun in 3rd place, tied 2nd place actually. And Vidit in last place, the only guy on 0 points. भाई इतनी बड़ी बड़ी standings है हमारे पास, because एक ही tournament है, 2 tournament नहीं है. No challenges हम दिखा नहीं रहे standings. Maybe we can show it also tomorrow. But yeah, crazy man. Vidit hopefully wins today. टिको शैक जैसे दिखते हैं? नहीं नहीं भाई, आई डोंट थिंक सो. इनफैक्ट आई थिंक अ फ्रेंड टोल्ड मी दिस कि भाई शैक थोड़े से लुइस लिट जैसे दिखते हैं फ्रॉम सूट्स. वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. आई डोंट नो फ्रेंड अपना नाम रिवील करना चाहिए कि नहीं, तो मुझे व्हाट्सएप कर दे, मैं बता दूंगा. बट या वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. why Indian players are not good with time management like Gukesh VD? ऐसा नहीं है. I think Gukesh is pretty good. Of course, he makes mistakes in time pressure, but I think he's known to handle his time better. Vidit, I think, is perpetually had this problem, but still, I think he worked on this. He got better at this. ऐसा नहीं है कि it was a problem for years. We could see the improvement, but then of course he has not been playing for a while, and in that situation, आप कोई भी हो, you will face issues. Even Magnus Carlsen, by the way, struggled with time pressure, right? If he played after when he played after a while in Norwich chess. So it's not a surprise at all. By the way, knight c4, let's go with this game now. We have a bunch of moves. After g3, knight c5, as expected, bishop g2 खेला विदित ने. उनका जैकेट काफी बड़ा लग रहा है भाई, उनसे बड़ा जैकेट ही लग रहा है. Knight e4. And of course, the plan is कि भाई I'm gonna double your pawns. काफी theoretical line है chat. आता है castles, आ गया नॉडी, नहीं sorry, bishop c3, pawn takes c3, and you queen c7 खेला. And plan is to of course attack this knight. And देखते हैं white यहाँ पे क्या खेलेंगे. I'm trying to remember the theory यहाँ पे. I've seen this before. I think bishop f4 is the move that my coach showed me. नहीं, bishop f4 था क्या? I think it was bishop. I'm not sure though. Bishop f4 की कुछ तो था. I'm not completely able to recall the preparation, but best move engine कह रहा है knight d4 है, which also makes sense because you attack the knight and you also have knight b5. Ah, yes, knight b5 combined with bishop f4. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Why Prag not playing? Yeah, Prag, I mean, I think Prag just finished Norway chess. Back-to-back events खेलना is tough for anybody. Of course, he would love a slight break. Why no rest day? Last 2 days, classical. This looks exhausting. I agree, it is exhausting. But I think maybe there were some issues. You know, कई बार क्या होता है chat की every day you extend the event, it's cost towards the organizer, it's cost for accommodations, for everything, for so I think maybe they wanted to cut cost. That could be one reason, which I can understand. Would be logical. It could also be कि किसी player का commitment होगी कि they might have to go to some other event after this. So again, it makes sense. By the way, knight d4, best move played by Vidit. Now the knight is hanging. So d5 is the only move for NODIRBEK. He cannot go wrong here, by the way. Can Arjun qualify for INTC win this tournament? He won't qualify basis this tournament alone. But if he wins this event, उनको बहुत तगड़े points मिलेंगे. This is a very, very strong event because NODIRBEK खेल रहा है, Arjun खेल रहा है, and so on. So he will gain some valuable points towards the FIDE circuit. So I think yes, उनके odds बढ़ेंगे. Bro, is Hikaru retired? Good question. I think semi-retired would be correct. And it's not because he doesn't want to play. It's because he makes more money streaming. It's more fun for him. And I personally can relate. I mean, I personally feel streaming is more fun because you get to experiment, do a lot of stuff. Over the board, chess खेलने में बच्चों से हारने में जो दुख है, उसको कोई चीज compensate नहीं कर सकती. So I am in Hikaru's boat, bhai. I agree with him. अभी कौन है top FIDE circuit? I think it doesn't matter. It's a 2-year cycle now. So I think abhi top check karna is kind of useless. I think it doesn't mean anything. So why no Indian apart from Arjun are good in fast chess, even the experienced ones? I think they are getting better though. I agree with you. I think because they're young, उनको इतना experience नहीं है. Yukesh, for example, has been known to play classical chess. He very rarely plays like Title Tuesdays and so on. So experience lacking है. Nihal को देख लो, he plays online chess so much, he's so good at it. So it just depends on practice. Once they practice, they realize कि भाई बहुत जरूरी है. You really have to get good at the shadow time control as well. Are Mr. Deck bhai, thanks a lot for super chat. Shout out to Sindaro, favorite channel indeed bhai. Chesscom India, Chess 24 India is his favorite channel. That's crazy. For the reactions and just for Sindaro. No way. अगर Sindaro bhai dekh lo, that's just for you, by the way. Will's downfall, अरे यार ऐसा नहीं है भाई. He's playing after a long time. Chat, if you have done something after a long time, be it anything in your life, चाहे वो पढ़ाई हो, चाहे वो नौकरी हो, चाहे वो किसी को डेट पे पूछना हो, चाहे वो आप एक हफ्ते बाद नहाओ नहीं ना, तो नहाने में भी आलस आता है. It's just how it works. He's playing after a while, तो टाइम प्रेशर रहेगा इशू. But the important detail is he should get better with every game. That's very important. If he keeps struggling every single round till the 9th round, that's the red flag. भाई जहां पे हो वहां बारिश हो रही है कि नहीं भाई? कड़कती धूप है बाहर यार, कड़कती धूप है बाहर. सो आई वुड लव सम रेनफॉल, टू बी ऑनेस्ट. What do you think after Magnus retires from chess? There will be a downfall in chess watching because most of the chess fans are made by Magnus Carlsen. I agree with you. I think Carlsen not playing chess would be sad for the entire ecosystem because he's like, आई थिंक होता है ना, जैसे मूवी होती है, एक होता है हीरो, एक होता है विलन. नाउ मैग्नस इज नॉट द विलन बट ही इज द चैलेंज. लेट्स इमेजिन अ डॉक्यूमेंट्री जहां पे अ गाय हैज टू क्लाइम माउंट एवरेस्ट एंड वी आर चेयरिंग फॉर दैट गाय कि भाई गो एंड क्लाइम माउंट एवरेस्ट, इट्स क्रेजी. Magnus Carlsen is that Mount Everest basically because you're trying to reach his skill, you're trying to beat him. So I think Norway chess, अगर Magnus नहीं खेल रहा होता, Prag winning would not be as huge as is it right now because he's defeated Magnus twice and won ahead of Magnus Carlsen. So I think I do agree it will be a sad day for chess if Magnus, retires. लेकिन I also feel that Magnus is not going to retire soon. He loves chess. And second, more importantly, we might at some point have a player who's as strong. I know it sounds ridiculous. Maybe not peak Magnus itna strong, जो 17, 18, 16 में खेलता था, but current Magnus itna strong totally possible है, especially after what we saw at Norway chess. By the way, Vishay 4 is the theory. यहाँ पे, if you take on c3, this is a pawn sack, queen takes, knight takes. Basically, white's rook's going to get to the c file, rook f c1. And whenever you move the knight, by the way, knight a4 is the only move. Now I have bishop d6, I have rook c7, and white has sufficient compensation for the pawn. Chat, I have to be honest. I think Vidit has a good opening structure here. I've played this as, okay, I shouldn't play, I've learned this as white. So when I was trying to learn chess from a GM, this is one of the openings he taught me. And I never got to use it. So maybe if someday I try, this is the opening I'm going to play. Secret है भाई, please reveal नहीं करना वो. But this is a very nice opening for white, I think. Very hard to play as black. Bishop pair hai, very active bishop pairs. And black is kind of a bit passive. He will get the pawn if he wants. But I don't think Vidit can lose this. I'll be shocked if he loses this. Bro, can you review game by Nihal Singh yesterday? 2 brilliancy, some French on. I'll check it out. I will check it out at the end of the stream if possible. Meanwhile, going to the game of Arjun Erigaisi, wahan kya chal raha hai? Oh, we saw DC5, knight C6, and this is where, look at this. Mamedyarov does not play the main move, C takes D5. Does not play the second best move, A3. He plays queen to C2. Essentially, ट्रांसपोजिंग इनटू अदर लाइंस. वो अर्जुन की प्रेप से थोड़ा सा कांप रहे हैं, मुझे ऐसा लगा, बिकॉज दिस इज अ वर्स मूव देन बिशप c5. सो ममेद्यारोव शुड टेक ऑन d5, बट आई थिंक उनके स्टाइल में भी नहीं है. He loves dynamic positions, and Arjun offered him a dull endgame, and he didn't want it. So that's why he played queen c2, and now queen a5 played, and now I think a3, bishop c5 will transpose into normal positions. And very important, chat, let's say a3, can black pick up the pawn? क्या b4 fork नहीं आ रहा है? Can black take that pawn? Yes or no? आज का पहला सवाल आपके फोन के स्क्रीन पर. Let's go, bhai. When is Nihal playing in top classical events? Bhai, he will play the Olympiad. That I can guarantee you. So he's gonna play top events regardless. Invites आ रहे हैं. It's only a matter of time. अर्जुन को भी टाइम लगा था, अगर आपको याद हो. यस, ही कैन टेक दैट पॉन, बाय द वे चैट, बिकॉज b4 के बाद अगर आप ध्यान से देखो, दिस पॉन इज एक्चुअली पिन्ड. You can't capture it, so black can just take with the knight or the bishop, and it's a free pawn because if you take, then the rook is hanging. So b4 is not possible, and hence Arjun can take. By the way, queen a5. Oh wow, look at this. After queen a5, Mamedyarov now plays bishop to d6. Extremely weird move, actually. Extremely weird move, because I don't think I've seen this in this structure. White usually plays a3, bishop d3, castles, and plays even knight g5 ideas, preparing for some attack on the king side. h4 भी possible होता है. Bishop d6 is weird. It might be a surprise. Chess.com पे आज तक एक गेम खेली गई है हिस्ट्री में, and that went something like cd6. And now, black took on c4 after this, and he took on c4, which I'm not sure is the best. I think rook d8 might be better just to pick up the pawn. But very interesting choice after a whole, big think of 7 minutes almost by Mamedyarov. So he's kind of realizing, bhai, Dara is liya. Let's calm down. Let's tamp down on the crazy here in this game. अबे ये क्या लिख दिया भाई? Yes, rook hanging था राजेश भाई, exactly. So very interesting choice. And इसके बाद अर्जुन को इक्वालिटी लेना काफी आसान हो गया after this trade and rook d8. But उनके winning chances, दोनों साइड के winning chances थोड़े कम होते हुए. But Arjun overall should be happy with this change because that means Amedyarov is not playing his most challenging chess. This is a good sign for Agassi Arjun, I think. एंड गेम में मौका मिल सकता है कुछ क्रेजी करने का. एंड चैट कोई कह रहा है व्हाट इज द डिटेल्स ऑफ टोटल वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप. यार इट्स अ न्यू चैंपियनशिप, फास्ट, क्लासिकल, रैपिड एंड ब्लिट्स. They're trying to find the best player in all time controls combined. It will also qualify, I think, some players to the candidates, so you can expect multiple players to play it. But I don't think Gukesh will play. I don't think Sundarov will play. So काफी इंटरेस्टिंग है कि गुकेश संदारोव में से एक बंदा तो हारेगा and he misses out on an opportunity at the candidates. By the way, rook d8. So अर्जुन कहते हैं मैं मारूंगा भी नहीं, आप मारो. He's springing surprise after surprise. अमिताभ कह रहा होगा भाई मेरे दिमाग की मूव कभी तो खेल. भाई अर्जुन ट्रिकी आदमी, मानना पड़ेगा. You can never guess his moves, chat. Can we all agree? We can never guess Arjun's moves. हमेशा वो सरप्राइजिंग खेलता है भाई. And by that, going to the game of VIDIT briefly, then coming back to, oh, no moves by NODIRBEK. Look at this. I told you. This is not an easy. Can we go full screen? Look at NODIRBEK right now, by the way. He's like, bhai, main kyun aaya is line mein? He's not happy with the opening choice. Because I told you, this opening is very good for white. Yahan se black ka jeetna matlab is like me winning the candidates. It's very, very tough. सूंघ भी नहीं सकते किसी possibility के लिए. So I think VIDIT should be very happy. Also theoretical line hai, so he'll get the moves in very quickly. This is old theory, well known for decades. So I think with perfect position, perfect launch pad to potentially put a lot of pressure on the world number 4 right now. Yeah, he plays the best move, Queen C5. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, Queen B2 is the best move. It's in my files, which is a thing I never get to say. But it is in my files, Queen B2. I think other moves, of course, like Rook FC1 makes sense. And basically, ये दोनों weaknesses है chat. ये दोनों weaknesses हैं. And white is playing against D5, black is playing against C3. But bishop pair की वजह से, again, this bishop pair is very, very important. It gives white a slight edge here. So देखते हैं, black Queen B2, B6 then. And then, of course, the question is, where do you develop this bishop? I think bishop D7 maybe is the best square dominating the knight. Yes, it's in the Tiku files, this position in the Tiku files, Queen B2. So going back to the game of Arjun again, वहां पे शैक भाई फिर शॉक में कि भाई मैं मेरी चाल कब खेलेगा ये लौंडा. हर चाल पे 10-10 बार सोचना पड़ता है मुझे. आज सहज भाई नहीं है. सहज भाई कभी किसी दिन आएंगे for sure. We'll get him, I promise. What is the ambition of Arjun in this tournament? Victory alone or gain rating points for whole year? What is the goal? I think for Arjun, it's simple. Arjun bhai is known to finish second in every event. Okay? For him, it's two things. First goal is to win the event. Because even at Tepe Sigmund, he finished tied first, then lost to Magnus in the Armageddon. He needs to win an event. He needs to win a top level event. And this is the kind of event he really can win. Because यहाँ पे NODIRBEK is his real competitor. बाकी कोई भी ऐसा player नहीं है who's like Nepo is not at his peak. Nicholas not really at the same level. Vokidov not at the same level. Madaminov not at the same level. Mamedyarov past his peak, let's say. VIDIT slightly rusty because coming after a break. So NODIRBEK is the real opponent he has. अगर NODIRBEK को उन्होंने हरा दिया, he is the favorite to win this event, and that's something that could unlock some new potential inside him. Because अर्जुन को एक बार फर्स्ट आना है भाई, एक बार वो आ जाए ना, he is gonna go on a winning spree, win 2800. So that's the main goal. Second side goal could be to gain a few ratings, of course. I think he knows he belongs above the 2800 rating level. He's very strong. So वो side hustle है. I think if it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, also okay. But main goal is to win an over the board event. उसका unlock हो जाएगा है कि भाई I am capable of winning a master level event, and then you see how he plays. Hans also, sorry, my bad. I think I should have mentioned Hans. For some reason, I didn't see him. But Hans also, but I think Hans again, like it's not at the level of NODIRBEK and Arjun. I think he would be somewhere around with it, maybe. I would put him there. So Hans also good chances, but Hans lost round 1. That's already something sad for Hans. So I think it's going to be tough for him to win. Nepo, I mentioned, by the way, again, past his peak clearly. I think even though he won yesterday against VIDIT. So I think, मेरे हिसाब से Arjun, NODIRBEK are the two favorites. And if Arjun can win this, it's going to unlock something huge for him psychologically. And of course, Arjun Erigasi, we know he's Indian number one, so he wants to maintain that. He wants to gain world rankings. Just by winning one game today or tomorrow, he would be world number 6 instead of world number 9. And जब भी 6 और 9 number साथ में आए हैं, 9 or 6, crazy things have happened. So I think world number 9 से world number 6 जाना है एक ही game में. Mukhi Singh is very strong. He's the second of Sindarov, but we can't really expect. He's the lowest seed of the event. Even though he is 2-on-2, at some point, जब उनकी opening prep over the board नहीं आएगी, I think he's gonna struggle. And once he loses one game, he's gonna lose 2-3 in a row. Because यहाँ पे he's the weakest player on paper. And at some point, that's gonna show, I think. Yo, Imang bhai, what's up? कैसे हो? बढ़िया. And chat now, you can see Arjun. He's looking at the camera. He's like, भाई वो होता है ना वो Usain Bolt वाला winning shot दे रहा है. Yeah. चैट लुक ये वो फोटो वोटो खिंचवा रहा है अभी भाई कि जब जीतूंगा तो ये फोटो लाना. अर्जुन क्वीन बचाओ. अर्जुन क्वीन इज वेरी सेफ भाई. Nobody can get to Arjun's queen. Very, very safe. It's almost impossible to get to Arjun's queen right now. There are enough pins in the game. In fact, she's very aggressive and would really love to create counterplay here. So I think, in fact, White's king has to be, scared of the black queen, to be honest. So Arjun gets up now, photo खिंचवाने के बाद, and he has, by the way, look at the clock, 14 minutes more on the clock. This is where you see Arjun's prep coming to the forefront. He is an absolute legend. I think in terms of opening prep in the world right now, I think top 2 in the world, I would put Fabi. Fabi, NODIRBEK, and Arjun are the top 3 for me. Not NODIRBEK, sorry, Sindarov. These are the top 3 in opening prep right now in the world, including Magnus. Pure opening prep. I think ये top 3 किसी order में depending on form. Arjun's prep is absolutely phenomenal. मजा आता है भाई देख के उसकी games. Crazy things happened when bhai, come on. I think VIDIT bhai should do like kind of thing like strategy is just play a small necklace that is not engines. That's easy to say, but वो Arjun करता है ऐसे because he's so well prepared कि अगर inaccuracy हो भी गई, he'll come out of it. When your confidence is low, it's not easy to play the second best move. You want to play the best move and you somehow fall into your opponent's prep. But I think today VIDIT is not worried. Because ये prep ना is not something new, crazy line जहाँ पे कोई नहीं. देखो ना relaxed है. He's okay. Now he looks stressed. But I think in general VIDIT should not be worried here. ये line established है बहुत time से, decades से. People have played this, and this is not easy for Black to gain an advantage from. He's not risking anything here. Sorry, you could have tried your career in stand-up, right? No, bhai. I think I love chess, man. Anything that links to chess, probably I would love to do. Anything else, I'm not interested. I think maza nahi aata yaar. I don't like doing stuff which is not linked to chess in any shape. I don't know why that is, but that's how it is. भाई तानिया मैम की प्रोनाउंसिएशन इंग्लिश की इतनी अच्छी कैसे है? बाय द वे आई थिंक दिस इज द क्वेश्चन आई ऑफन हियर. कई बार ऐसे दिखता है, सो कमेंट्स आते हैं तानिया को एंड सम अदर कमेंटेटर्स कि भाई एक्सेंट है ये वो. I think chat majority of top Indian players, that includes Tanya. I don't know if you've heard of Parimajan Negi. Many Indian youngsters who have been, playing chess for decades abroad, right? Because आजकल common लगता है, but Tanya, Parimajan Negi, all these guys were playing chess abroad for decades in a row. So they spent majority of their childhood abroad. So the accent, like it comes naturally, I think. And I think the reason I say this is because I once talked to Parimajan Negi when I was like 15 years old or something. And he has had this incredible foreign accent. I was like, भाई ये बंदा बात कैसे कर रहा है भाई, ये accent कहाँ से है? Then I realized कि भाई ये बंदा इंडिया में तो रहता ही नहीं है, तो बचपन से ही बाहर रहा है, तो it kind of makes sense. So I think that's where the great English pronunciation and the accent comes from. Is queen b3 not good in this position? I think queen b3 is possible, but problem है कि कभी ना knight c5 या bishop e6 and then d4 might be a free tempo, like free move, and queen को दोबारा चलना पड़ेगा. And because white has a dark square bishop, black के पास नहीं है, so queen b2 usually is a safer square, जहां black का कोई bishop attack नहीं कर सकता, black का कोई knight attack नहीं कर सकता, and you also keep this pawn defended and also keep this pawn defended, by the way, and also keep the rooks defended. So it's a multi-purpose move, and that's why queen b2 is better in some cases than queen to b3, I think. Will Kesh play another World Castle tournament before championship? Yes. So we already know he's playing the Olympiad, and I can tell you I have insider information कि he's playing one more event. That's all I can tell you, chat. Bas. So बाकी सारा रिवील बाद में होगा. So he's going to play at least two tournaments, and this is apart. This is classical events I'm talking about. So Zagreb वाला भी वो खेलेंगे. That is GCT Zagreb. So let's say कि भाई दो क्लासिकल इवेंट तो वो खेलेंगे. कल राकेश भाई बोल के गए थे स्पेशल गेस्ट आएंगे यार. आज मुश्किल है. आई थिंक कल से वी माइट हैव समबडी. बट टू बी ऑनेस्ट मेरे को लगता है कि यार ये टूर्नामेंट हम लोग चिल कर रहे हैं, मजा आएगा. यू नो इट्स लाइक इट्स ऑलवेज फन. लाइक चैट से इंटरेक्ट करने का मौका नहीं मिलता कई बार. अकेले में बहुत इंटरेक्ट करने का मौका मिलता है. दिस इज हाउ आई यूज्ड टू स्ट्रीम इन 2023, 2022, 2021. तो पुरानी यादें भी ताजा हो गई भाई. सर भाई स्पीक लोअर योर वॉइस. भाई मेरे को लगता है मैं नॉर्मल बोल रहा हूँ. इज माई वॉइस लाउड? चैट लेट मी नो यस और नो. Why Nihal playing with Armenia flag on chess.com? भाई निहाल भाई से मैंने सवाल पूछा था. The first interview I did with Nihal Sareen, I asked him कि भाई आपका फ्लैग क्यों चेंज होता रहता है. कहता है कि यार I kind of like changing my flag to the country I am in. Like ऐसे मजा आता है मुझे ऐसे. He's curious about flags and so on and geographies and so on. याद है he's a GeoGuessr fan also. He loves that game. So I think it's his kind of pet peeve कि भाई I love these little things and countries and so on. And even Magnus, for example, knew all the capitals of all countries in the world by age 3 or something. So I think ये एक रहता है, I think chess players का. Indian players should marry like you. You mean marry a chess player? I mean, most do, no? Like many chess players do marry chess players. You might not know many because they might not be top Indian players, but most chess players actually end up marrying chess players, as far as I know, because it's very hard for other people to understand कि chess player की life कैसी होती है. Like it's very hard, I think. um, Live rating is below the Fed rating. Yes. By the chat, Queen के बाद, as you can see, Vidit is now thinking, this is where I don't agree with the long think. I think he's thinking for 9 minutes. ठीक है. And he should now play the move. यहाँ 25 मिनट नहीं सोचना चाहिए. This is where he struggles then. So hopefully he will not take too much time. Going back to the Arjun game, by the way, मम्मीदार वो clock देखो भाई. He is in the same boat as Vidit. And वो दोनों boat बहुत slow चल रही है for some reason. Like he's also thinking, look at him, yeah, can we go full screen? He's like, मतलब इतना stressed लग रहा है बंदा. Look at Amedyaarov. जैसे life or death decision ले रहे हो. Like he's really stressed. So can we go full screen for a moment? Sagar and Amuta are good examples. Exactly. They support each other. They are there for each other. They understand each other, I think, well. And that's a good example as well. I agree. And there you see it by here, ममिदयारोव जी विदित को हराए थे राउंड 1 में. बट आज अर्जुन के सामने थोड़ा सा प्रेशर में लग रहे हैं. ही इज काइंड ऑफ ट्राइड टू कंफ्यूज अर्जुन इन दी ओपनिंग, बट लगता है खुद ही कंफ्यूज हो गए आफ्टर रुक D8. एंड नाउ द मूव्स आर नॉट इजी बिकॉज इफ यू टेक ऑन D6 एज वाइट, आपने दो चालें वेस्ट करी हैं to exchange a piece which was already bad or passive at least. Black can simply take, he also defends the D5 pawn. Now Queen C5 are and Black has already at least equalized. So you don't want to take on E7 and give Black free development. Next is you could take on D5 for example, but then knight takes ke baad this knight is pinned. So at some point Black could pick this up, damage your structure, take this pawn and then Rook C8 pe ye pawn weak hai. So this is also not looking that convincing. Next is knight D2, but again, knight D2 is moving in the wrong direction. Yeah, there's knight B4, for example. What do I do there? I have to go back to D1. So I think koi bhi move is not adequately, convincing Mamidyarov ki bhai this is equal, or even like it at least gives me any advantage. So I think great play by Arjun so far in this opening. I'm telling they are also going to be chess couple. Who? अच्छा, अरे भाई 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 इतना आगे मत जाओ भाई, अभी तो वो लोग बहुत छोटे हैं. How many chess books have you read so far? In my life, a lot actually. But the last time I opened a chess book was in 2021 when I was kind of making a video around it. But proper study करने के लिए, I think the last time I opened a chess book, honestly, like pure chess book, not like some documentary kind of Vichy Sir's book or Danny Rench's book. Those I read. But in terms of pure chess hardcore instruction book, I think the last time I completed a complete book was in 2020, I think. उसके बाद से इतना देखा नहीं. I think I've worked on courses since then. Courses देखे मैंने, videos देखे. I think that's the new form of instruction which I like more rather than books. Books get tough sometimes. It's not easy to work together on them. भाई चेसकॉम एक्सप्लोरर पेज पे कितनी ओपनिंग सीख सकते हो यार. मैंने प्रखर ने सीओबी के लिए सारी ओपनिंग्स बाय द वे फ्रॉम स्क्रैच टिल द वेरी एंड चेसकॉम एक्सप्लोरर पेज पे देखी थी भाई. We did not even open any book or any course, nothing. That alone was enough. I am Gyaraso rated but don't have any theory knowledge. Where should I start? I think you should watch some YouTube videos, and this is applicable to everyone, not just you. कोई भी opening सीखनी है, first look at some YouTube videos in the openings you're curious about. एंड उस ओपनिंग्स में फिर जो ओपनिंग्स आपको अच्छी लग रही हैं उनमें ट्राई टू गेट अ कोर्स. You don't need to get the best course by Anish Giri, for example, every single time. But get a course which is done by anybody, which is affordable, which you somebody you like. I think Chessable courses are great. I can highly recommend them. But whatever you do, find a course and go into that opening deeper, because that's how I learned. I have seen, by the way, VIDIT ka course, Caro Can ka, I think it was 2018 में आया था. I have seen both those modules. I have seen multiple courses by Bologan. I have seen courses by Anish Giri. I have seen courses by many, many players. Even players who are IMs, I have seen courses by. Like even players who have been FMs, I've seen courses by. It doesn't matter, I think. The goal is कि भाई कहीं से सीख रहे हो आप लोग in a structured way. By the way, Bishop E2 played, I can tell you that's not the move he wanted to play. Because now whenever I take on C4, आपके बिशप को दोबारा मूव करना पड़ेगा. For example, takes. Why is black really better here? I just don't see it. I just don't see it, bhai. In fact, I would argue black ka rook d8 aa raha hai. Black is absolutely fine. Now, can black win this? Maybe tough. White is very solid. But in terms of white getting an advantage out of the opening, that ship has sailed. That ship has sailed and is now nowhere to be found, I think. तो मेरे हिसाब से आई थिंक अर्जुन शुड बी वेरी वेरी हैप्पी out of the opening in the first 9 moves of the game. Completely safe and sound. By the way, going to the Vidit opening, कि भाई Vidit तब से सोच रहे हैं, this is what's kind of irritating me a bit. He should now play the move. He knows the theory. I can guarantee you, if I know the exact move Queen B2 here and Rook FC1, he knows the theory. There is no way, if I remember this theory from 2019, I'm not sure why he remembers this. So he's trying to go very deep into lines, which is great, but I don't want him to fall below, like 30 minutes below his opponent. That's the problem. Then he will suffer in the end game, I think, as we saw in round 1 and 2. So let's play Queen B2, let's play Rook C1, let's play something else, which is normal. Also, Queen B2 mein Queen B4 is also an idea sometimes. To exchange queens and improve your pawn structure. So let's do it, man. Let's do it. No issues there. Come on, really, bhai. And chat, by the way, do like the stream. By the way, blurred क्यों आ रहा है भाई सब कुछ? Oh, now it's fine. बीच में लगा था मतलब पता नहीं क्यों जब भी कुछ blur होता है मुझे विवेक देसाई की याद आ जाती है for some reason. I don't know why. By the way, वो stare from NODIRBEK, हल्का सा stare. He's known to give these. बट अभी मुझे उम्मीद है नोदिरबेक के साथ विद की प्लेजेंट मेमोरीज होंगी, बिकॉज ही इज द वन whom he defeated to become India number 1 during Tata Steel 2024 it was, I think. So really hoping Vidit is going to channel that inner energy and give us a great game of chess today. Great point by Mr. Ankor. वो कह रहे हैं nothing is bigger than classical world championship. And I'm going to ask you a question, chat. अगर हमारे पास ऑप्शन होता to win the Olympiad gold or to win the world championship, and we could only win one, which one would you choose? World championship या Olympiad? Come on, chat. What is your thinking process here? Very, very, interesting point by Ankur. I love that point actually. Both with it 100% accuracy. Exactly, this is theory, by even I know this theory. So 100% accuracy hogi because this is all preparation. Both world championship, Olympiad, world championship, WCC. I agree with you, chat. I think world championship has more value, has more prestige. And I think Olympiad mein kya hai ki it's not, it has a direct comparison with the Olympics. And that's where it falls short, I think. वो लोग सेम तरीके से नहीं देखते. If people looked at the same way, if chess was part of Olympics, then I think you can debate, but it's not part of Olympics. So I think the world championship holds more weight, in my opinion. Also, I agree with you. I think majority of you. So मेरे हिसाब से उकेश का जीतना बहुत बहुत जरूरी है. And if Vishali also wins, we could have both the world champions in India, literally in one city. 100% accuracy. Exactly, this is theory, bhai. Even I know this theory. So 100% accuracy hogi because this is all preparation. Both world championship, Olympiad, world championship, WCC. I agree with you. I think Nodibek's chair must be irritating with it a lot. I'm going to share a story. So I was playing against not just one. I've played against at least 25 title players in my life who've had this habit of staring at me, like at their opponents. Not just me, every opponent. It's just a way of putting psychological pressure. In fact, I once played a 2100 kid who started kicking me on the table. Literally टांग लाते मारना चालू कर दे गेम के बीच में. So and I think I was warned before by a grandmaster कि भाई ये करेगा. So I was prepared. But I think people often do this stuff, which I think, okay, staring is okay because the opponent has an option of simply avoiding your gaze. I think it's fair game. Of course, you should not touch your opponent like some people do, especially some kids. That's, I think, not fair game. But in general, I think you should train yourself to be, like not get affected by these things. Violence nahi hai, but it was done by. I can tell you the exact tournament when this was Chennai GM 2018, by the way. Not Chennai GM, main Chennai GM open hota tha, Chennai open hota tha, wahan pe. But the point is, by the way, he plays Rook C1, which is not the best move. Quite curious why he chose this. Maybe he's like trying to avoid Nodirbek's prep, which is a fair decision, I think. So, okay, it's a decent move. And now I think next Queen B2 anyways will be the best move. But coming back to the gaze, I think you should train yourself to not be affected by these things because otherwise it's very easy to affect you. Yeah. I mean, I feel like when एक story सुनी थी, I read this in some book and we talked about chess books earlier. Um, there was a grandmaster, like a top grandmaster. I don't remember the name. I don't know if it was Lasker or Alekhine. I don't know who it was, but he was genuinely affected by a noise in the tournament hall. So what he did was in his training itself, he started training in noise. Like शोर के अंदर ट्रेनिंग करना चालू कर दिया घर पे ही ताकि his mind started filtering that noise in actual tournaments then. So you can train yourself for this. I think you can play practice games against somebody who has this habit or you tell them to do so against you. I think not Fisher. So I think you can train yourself for anything. So मेरे हिसाब से I think it does affect you. But if it does affect you, the easiest way to do it is just train yourself to filter that noise out. चाहे वो noise actual noise है, चाहे वो noise is your opponent staring, चाहे it is anything else. Of course, kicking on the table is not fair. That I think you should report to the arbiter, but top level players will never do it. One more thing is like standing behind you. That's something players can often do. Abhimanyu Mishra does this, which is very irritating. Like if I was there, I would be irritated. Yeah. So I think, but it's fair game. It's fair game. He's not affecting the opponent. So that's also something you can train for. I think it's fair game. You can train for. And cricket में होता है भाई. There's sledging in cricket, so there can be certain psychological ways to put pressure in chess as well. Skip field नहीं भाई. I won that game by the way. Meanwhile, Rook C1 आया. And now Nodibek is thinking, definitely maybe a minor surprise for him. Rook FC1 could be the normal move, I think, because ये rook यहाँ पे अब कहाँ जाएगा? I think the rook has to now go to D1, right? And ठीक है, maybe F2 is also a bit soft, no? So maybe he's keeping this defended as well for now. So काफी logical. And maybe he also plans to move the knight someday, so he wants to keep this defended. So going back to the Arjun game quickly, chat. देखते हैं वहां क्या चल रहा है. By the way, Bishop E2 के बाद Arjun is still thinking. So I think I'll tell you what he's thinking exactly. He is thinking कि भाई, how do I play for a win? That's his exact thought process. How do I play for a win? Because draws को दिख रहा है. He's seeing how the game ends in a draw already. He saw it in 30 seconds after Bishop E2. Now he's thinking, is there a way to complicate the game enough to keep winning chances alive? That's why he's thinking. Otherwise, उसने अब तक कब का खेल दिया होता. That's why the 8-minute thing. So Arjun सोच रहा है कि भाई after DC4 or Bishop D6 सब exchange रहेगा. That's likely going to be a draw. How can I complicate matters? Is knight B4, for example, a move to, sharpen up the game? Is there something else I can do to sharpen up the game? ये अभी वो सोच रहे हैं. What's the protocol for player drinking alcohol? Not allowed by. I don't know if it's allowed or not. But if you do it, I think you will probably play bad chess. Not everybody is Magnus Carlsen. Ding is not getting invites because he doesn't want to play, I think. That's my understanding at least. Like he doesn't play. In fact, the only tournaments he played, some games, was in China itself. That's where he gained some rating points, right? So बाहर खेलते नहीं है. Meanwhile, Arjun Agassi in deep thought. I think this is the crucial moment. If he wants to complicate the game, keep chances alive to win the game, he has to do something here. Um, the problem is, unfortunately, it's not easy because he has two captures and he has to do them both at some point. He cannot avoid these both because agar avoid kiya, then white will castle and then take on d5 and give you a isolated pawn. Then only white can win this. So he has to take on c4. He has to take on d6. And then how does he avoid the draw? Like this game could be a very quick draw for Arjun. Like this would not be a surprise if this ends in like 15 minutes from now. But he's thinking, okay, he takes on c4 first, takes just, देखो ना, अर्जुन ने इतना सोच लिया बट 10 मिनट लिए एनी प्लेस. दैट्स व्हाट आई वांट फ्रॉम विदित, नो 20-minute थिंग्स. 10 मिनट सोचा, क्रूशियल मोमेंट्स खेल दिया, खत्म बात. Why smoking was banned, Sahil bhai, if Talak? Bhai, I think smoking can affect your opponent. Like they can take in the smoke. Drinking, I don't know if it's allowed or not during official events. I've never tried it, so I can't really tell you. It might be banned, actually. It might be banned. But it doesn't affect your opponent, so I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it. By the way, Bishop c4 played by Amidar quickly. I think Bishop d6 will happen very, very quickly as well. There's also Queen b4 to attack the bishop. And if bishop here, b3, then Queen h5 to potentially build up an attack. But Queen b4, Bishop e2 pe kya karoge? Okay, he takes on d6 now. Pawn takes is automatic and rook takes is automatic. What happens after this now is the question. There's also knight e5 here. You can delay that move, but I think that's just a change in move order. The game does not change though. Release Tiku files. By last Tiku files were built in 2019. एंड तब से कुछ एडिशन हुई नहीं, कुछ क्रेजी मिलेगा नहीं आपको, पुरानी थ्योरी मिलेगी उसके अंदर. साहिल फ्रॉम वेयर कैन आई लर्न स्पेनिश थ्योरी? पिकअप अ यूट्यूब वीडियो. भाई आपका नाम तो चैट जीपीटी है भाई, आप कैसे सवाल पूछ सकते हो? यू नो एवरीथिंग ब्रदर. हाउ कैन यू आस्क मी दिस क्वेश्चन? आई शुड आस्क यू दिस क्वेश्चन. Okay, castles, and now chat 95 exchanging pieces, very logical. Bishop d7, very logical. Next is bishop e8 and rook d8. Khatam, draw. By the way, castle's played. Let's see what Arjun does now. This is the moment jahan pata lagega ki bhai, is Arjun playing for a win or not? Simple. Agar yahan pe kuch normal hua, then I think it's a draw. COB2. I was not playing COB. I think I'm a bit strong for COB. I was coaching Prakhar. That was my role. And luckily he won. So that was a nice feeling at the end. But I think Prakhar is a strong player, man. Like even without me, if I was not there, he could still easily win it. The only thing is it will take him more time, I think. But I think also, I think he's correct. I think we did an interview with Saga Bhai recently. कल शाम को या परसों शाम को किया हमने interview. I think परसों शाम को किया शायद. Sunday कब था? हाँ, परसों शाम को किया था. I think basically it was more fun to do it together, I think, though. The chess prep, I mean. I think it became fun because you had two people doing together. You remember theory as well. By the way, still no moves by Arjun. देखते क्या खेलेंगे. This is gonna be another thinking point for him because यहाँ पता लगेगा is he gonna play for a win or not. Let's go to the Vidit game quickly. By the way, Bishop D. Look at this, NODIRBEK. Vidit ने सोचा इतनी देर सोचा, and now suddenly Bishop D7 played in just 4 minutes. So NODIRBEK playing faster than Vidit. That tells you the important detail here. NODIRBEK को पता है टाइम कैसे मैनेज करना है. उसको पता है कि Vidit 2 गेम हार चुका है टाइम प्रेशर में. So he's building that pressure again on Vidit. So बहुत जरूरी है उसके लिए फास्ट खेलना. Let's play Queen B2 quickly. Let's not waste time anymore. Come on Vidit. What do you think Olympiad this year? Are India still the favorites? I think favorites decide होगा 1 point से. Is Hikaru Nakamura playing or not? If Hikaru is playing, I think US is the clear favorite. If he is not playing, I think India is the favorite then. Even though I think in terms of top 5 teams, it's very obvious. It's going to be US, India, Uzbekistan, China, Russia in some order. Let me know if I'm missing a team somewhere. But in terms of favorites, I think it's going to be US or India, and depends on, whether Hikaru is playing or not. VD के पास इंजन थोड़ी है भाई, बस दिमाग है ना भाई. He can play. He knows Queen B2 is one of the ideas here. He knows it very well. Turkey is not that strong. Turkey का top board is a dogmas and एक ही 27 अंक के पास. So I don't think it's that strong a team. Like Turkey में India can easily win 3-1 like without any effort. YouTube videos can give ideas about prep, but what about intuition? Intuition is just experience disguised as experience. Like it's just experience. I think intuition comes from looking at something, doing it yourself, making a mistake, learning from a mistake, and not repeating the mistake. So intuition will develop once you play games on these openings. So आपने कोई YouTube वीडियो देखी ओपनिंग की, आपने बेसिक समझे, फिर आपने कोई कोर्स लिया, आपने डेप्थ में समझा, then you play these games yourself, ठीक है, and you make some mistakes, you learn, analyze those games, जैसे गेम रिव्यू यूज करके या फ्रेंड के साथ एनालाइज करके, and then that intuition develops with time. It will not happen instantly. Because intuition is your mind telling you ये गलत है, and it comes from experience. It can't come by default. And talent is essentially, how fast you develop that intuition. So I mean, don't be arrogant. Turkish players play fighting chess. Yeah, man. But I mean, Gurel is 2600. Saran is, I think, 2500. So for Indian players, it's the best I think they can do is 2.5, 1.5. Of course, they can beat anybody on their day, but फिर बहुत teams है. ऐसे Armenia आ गई, it's very strong. ऐसे 10 teams, you have to. Netherlands is very strong. There are multiple teams who can pull off what Turkish team can pull off. It's not just Turkey then. By the way, look at this. NODIRBEK gets up again. VIDIT is in deep think. And look at this. Chat, look at this. पिछली चाल पे विदित ने 20 मिनट ऑलमोस्ट इस्तेमाल किए, 19.5 मिनट इस्तेमाल किए, एंड इस चाल पे ऑलरेडी 7 मिनट होने वाले हैं. सो कंबाइनिंग बोथ 26 minutes for 1.5 moves. That is the problem. You see, like this was not a critical tactical decision. This was a decision and plan. आपने ले लिए 19 मिनट, but the next move should come automatically because bishop d7 is the first move black will play. This is where I feel he's kind of lacking. I think यहाँ पे उसको queen b2 खेल देना चाहिए तब तक. Now he plays queen b3, but this move should have come in 30 seconds rather than taking 7.5 minutes. I think he lost 7 minutes जो बाद में इसको hurt कर सकते हैं. It's just lack of practice, I think. And now black will play rook f c8 and he's going to pressure this c3 pawn heavily. Who do you think will win? Ignore the engine. I think it's going to be a draw. I think draw is the most likely result because अगर ये pawn मर भी जाए ना, उसके बाद भी it's very tough for black to play because white has the bishop pair, man. This pawn will be weak forever. Rook f d1 कभी ना कभी pressure डालेगा. Look at these bishops, man. I mean, that should tell you the story. Yeah, मैं diagonal सीधा जाना चाहिए लेकिन this should tell you क्या bishops है भाई, magical bishops. देख के लग रहा है, मतलब बोलते हैं ना, एक ऐसे होता है कोई beautiful, एक स्विट्जरलैंड की वादियों की याद आ रही है बिशप को देख के भाई. Beautiful bishops. Indian team with peak form can't be defeated. I agree. We won the Olympiad with 2 rounds to spare. With that form, though, I think, man, we are the clear favorite, even with Hikaru. But I think वो form replicate करना will be tough, though. Russia is strong. I think Nepo, Esipenko, Dubov, I don't know if Kramnik plays. But I think it'll be strong. But I still feel like India is slightly stronger, at least on paper. And also, Dubov is quite volatile. Yeah, he can have the best game. He can have the game of the tournament, or he can have the game of nightmare of a tournament. I think so. I think it depends. Dubov is quite, his style is not fixed. Like he can have great results or horrible results also. I think Sagavai is clearly the better player. He is. I am an NM. I think 200 point का difference वहीं पे आ रहा है. By the way, B6 played. It's not the best move, but it's a practical move by NODIRBEK. He wants to defend the pawn. And now I think the best move for white, by the way, I'm thinking of 2 moves here. One is f3, which again, Sahaj bhai nahi hai, to f3 बहुत हो रहा है हमारे stream में. And this is a very normal plan because knight attack करते हो. Knight d6 and now queen b4. This is one of the moves. The second plan is queen b4 directly. But rook f c8 के बाद, if you now play f3, now the c3 pawn is hanging. So I think this has to take a call. Is this pawn a big weakness? Am I ready to sack it? If not, then he has to play f3 already. Otherwise, ये pawn को goodbye बोलना पड़ेगा मैं. This pawn is gone. The other plan to save it is play knight f3. And maybe that's his plan of keeping the rook on f1 and rook f c8 पे bishop e5. And then the bishop sits on d4 and defends the pawn. This might be actually his plan of saving the c3 pawn. Chat stream like करते चला. Let's get more people in. बहुत मजा आने वाला है. आज के lineups are incredible. It is VD versus NODIRBEK and it is of course ARJUN versus MAMEDYAROV. Going to the ARJUN game very quickly. कोई update है क्या? We have updates after castle. Sorry, where we left it. ARJUN played bishop d7. The best move in the position. Rook f d1 takes on d1 and now knight to e5 offering another trade. Very nice move, chat. Because the idea is, question to you. What is the best square for this bishop, chat? Answer karo. What is the best square? Karyakin, I don't think will play. I'm very doubtful he plays the Olympiad, by the way. Do you see movies about chess? If yes, I do actually. कोई भी chess movie, I saw the documentary Hans Even wali. I saw the movie वो Pawn Sacrifice Fisher wali. I have seen Searching for Bobby Fischer. Also seen that one. So any movie, chess movie, I've probably seen it. Not D8 तो जा ही नहीं सकता. I think E8 is a decent square. Jugadu square. मतलब I think if nothing else, then that makes sense. But the best square is C6 because you can attack the king side. You also dominate both the knight and the bishop with this bishop on c6, right? Because you control all these squares. That's why knight e5. ताकि अगर आप knight e5 मारते हो queen e5, now I have this square, this comfortable square on c6, and I can also even attack your king side. So that's why after rook d1 knight e5, यहाँ पे उन्होंने मारा नहीं, क्वीन को एक्टिव नहीं किया, he plays bishop e2, ताकि अगर ब्लैक मारता है, now I can take, and now bishop c6 is not possible because if you play this, I will take, and you have a weak pawn. So both sides trying to play against bishop to c6. लेकिन Arjun bhai तगड़े खिलाड़ी हैं. He could, by the way, if bishop c6 right now, that's already a possibility, but there is knight d4. So you will have to move the bishop again. So वो पहले खेलते हैं rook to c8, develops the last piece into the game and completely equalizes. Next plan है, at some point, maybe play h6 or something to back ranks issue solve कर लो. Take on f3, play bishop c6, take on c6, exchange everything, and it's a draw. Chat, this game is going to be a draw. And to be honest, there were zero problems offered by MAMEDYAROV. I feel like Arjun ka, this was absolutely beautiful play with the black pieces to neutralize an advantage. Where can I find final team? They have not been selected just yet. The Indian team, जो fake Arjun ji पूछ रहे हैं chat में, that will be revealed, I think, sometime in July is my guess. You will know the team. So June end तक तो नहीं होगा, अगले महीने में announce होगा, I think. Hikaru will not play Olympiad. Then I think India team is the favorite. VD का क्लासिक में 2700 लेवल से बहुत कम है since candidates. Yeah, he's not played, by the way. He did not play this candidates also. He played the last candidates. So I would say कि he has maintained a rating of 27 plus. So his performance has been on par. He's just not played enough. I think होता है. कुछ भी करो after a break, it's tough. By the way, chat, move सोच रहे हैं MAMEDYAROV. I don't see a clear move because knight pinned है. ये मारोगे तो queen active. This bishop has to stay here to defend the knight. I see simply no moves for MAMEDYAROV to put pressure. So Arjun completely equalized. Going to the VIDIT game, by the way, जहां moves देखते आए हैं कि नहीं. Still no moves by VIDIT. यार ये time pressure में खेल रहा है यार. This is what I don't like. Why is he thinking? Like every move he's thinking, yeah, b6 and bishop d7 can't be surprise moves, especially not bishop d7. Why is he thinking? It's a risky approach from Vidit Gujarati, I think, to think on every move for so long. How much? He's already thinking 5 minutes. That's too much. That's too much. And now he plays bishop e3. Okay, makes sense. देखो यार, मैंने कहा था 30 मिनट डिफरेंस हो जाएगा in the next 3 moves. Yeah, man, it does look like it's already happened or about to happen. I think 25 मिनट का तो already हो गया है. India Olympiad team most likely will be Arjun, Parag, Gokesh, Nihal, and yes, that's the most likely team for the open section. And women's may, I think it will be Harika, Hampi, Divya, Vaishali, and I think Vantika slash Savita. No, even I think it's also Rakshita Ravi, right? In the running. I think maybe her rating is a bit lower though. I might be wrong though. With inaccuracy, yeah, I don't think this is an inaccuracy because अपना plan क्या था? अपना plan था knight f3 and bishop e5. Essentially वही चीज है. He's doing it in a different order. So I don't think this is an inaccuracy per se. So this should be okay still. Not a big deal. Not a big problem. Tanya, I think, did not complete the game. So Tanya had to play some over-the-board games to complete the game requirement to qualify for the team. So Tanya would have to play some games before this month ends. If she plays a tournament, she will qualify and she makes it, but I'm not sure she's playing because she's commentating right now. She commented on UzChess. So she might just comment it with us. So that's great news also for us. तान्या का मस्त है, खेलेगी तो अपना बेनिफिट, कमेंटेट करेगी तो अपना बेनिफिट भाई. Either way, we get to see Tanya. वीडी को जज मत करो, इंडियन प्लेयर है। और हाँ, तुम नू भाई, वीडी को जज कौन कर रहा है भाई? कोई जज नहीं कर रहा है। साल भाई, बेस्ट बुक फॉर अटैक भाई, आई वुड से लुक एट द गेम्स ऑफ प्लेयर्स लाइक मिखाइल ताल। उससे बेटर इंस्पिरेशन नहीं हो सकती भाई। देयर वाज दिस बुक बाय मिखाइल ताल व्हिच आई सॉ इन 2020, क्रेजी बुक। कोई भी ताल की बुक देख लो भाई, आई थिंक दैट वुड बी ग्रेट इंस्पिरेशन। क्या क्या सैक करते हैं भाई। नेक्स्ट इवेंट ऑन स्ट्रीम विल बी बुलेट चेस चैंपियनशिप, निहाल, सरीन, अर्जुन प्लेइंग फ्रॉम इंडिया, फिरूजा विरूजा सब आएंगे। सो दैट विल बी 23rd to 27th ऑफ जून इफ आई एम नॉट मिस्टेकन। दिस एंड्स ऑन 15th, उसके एक हफ्ते बाद वो होगा। बाय द वे, गोइंग टू द गेम ऑफ अर्जुन क्विकली, कोई अपडेट है क्या? नो अपडेट। सो दे आर स्टिल स्ट्रगलिंग टू कम अप विद अ प्लान। कोई प्लान ही नहीं है। शुभी नहीं खेलेगी बिकॉज शुभी की रेटिंग जुलाई में आएगी, एंड आई थिंक हर रेटिंग विल नॉट काउंट फॉर द एवरेज रेटिंग्स, राइट? बिकॉज 3 मंथ का एवरेज रेटिंग है, एंड शुभी की रेटिंग अभी चेंज हुई है। सो नेक्स्ट ओलंपियाड शी मेंटेन्स दैट रेटिंग, देन शी कुड डू इट। देखो, मैंने जो पहला टूर्नामेंट खेला था तो मैंने ब्लिट्स का खेला था, एंड सिर्फ यूट्यूब की वीडियोस देखी थी 150 के आसपास, एंड आई डिफीटेड अ 2000+ प्लेयर। टोटली पॉसिबल, इट इज टोटली पॉसिबल भाई। आई फील लाइक यूट्यूब पे इतनी नॉलेज अवेलेबल है, यू कैन फॉलो जस्ट 3-4 people एंड यू कैन रियली अंडरस्टैंड अ लॉट अबाउट चेस। लाइक यू कैन फॉलो लेवी, ही हैज सो मेनी ओपनिंग्स। यू कैन फॉलो माय चैनल, वहां पे भी बहुत वीडियो डालूंगा मैं। यू कैन फॉलो चेस बेस इंडिया, वहां बहुत वीडियोस मिलेंगी इंस्ट्रक्टिव। आई थिंक मोस्टली पुरानी होंगी बट होंगी। एंड देन देल बी, और कौन सा चैनल है? आई थिंक एना क्रैमलिंग का चैनल अच्छा है। आई थिंक सम ओल्ड वीडियोस ऑन आवर चैनल आर ग्रेट, स्पेशली फॉर बिगनर्स। Tikku bro, what's your Indian ranking? Are you the top NM? I'm likely the only NM in India because India में NM title मिलता नहीं है. But I would not say I'm the top bias-rated player or something. I think कोई ऐसा वो नहीं है. By the way, pawn to h3 खेलने वाले हैं, which is kind of a nothing move. It does literally, it's a nothing move because it does nothing. And now I think black can just play h6 also, copy white, or he can take and already start thinking about bishop takes c6. And for example, one move that you can play here is actually queen takes a2, because knight is pinned. And if you take the queen, then rook c2 ke baad, black is actually winning the game. So you will have to take bishop takes b7, and the game is even. In fact, what you can do is, यहाँ पे you can play, can you play rook c7 directly is what I'm thinking. You can. You can play this directly, or you can play takes, and then rook c7 with the idea of queen takes a2. And who knows, your opponent might miss this, yeah? It is a possibility. And great point by, who it was? I think it was somebody in the chat. Vidur. कि भाई bishop a4 is a plan. बट देयर इज अ प्रॉब्लम विदुर भाई कि बिशप a4 आप जब भी खेलोगे, व्हाइट इज नॉट फोर्स टू टेक विद द नाइट, व्हाइट कैन टेक विद द क्वीन एक्चुअली, एंड दैट्स व्हाई इट अ फ्री पीस. बट यू शुड कीप दिस इन योर माइंड, यू शुड डेफिनेटली कीप इट इन योर माइंड. दिस कुड बी अ पैटर्न बिकॉज यहाँ क्वीन और रुक एक ही डायगोनल पे है. Best return for turning, this is remote chess academy. I have not seen much content of that channel. If it's great, it might be great. With its current level is 2650. By the way, h6 nice move. I think very nice move. Give his king a back rank escape square, ताकि back rank पे mate कभी ना हो जाए. That's very important. And now I think white can probably just play rook d4, queen d2, a3, exchange everything, and it's going to be a draw. Let's see how he does it though. But पानी बॉटल खत्म कर रहे हैं अर्जुन, नोइंग कि भाई गेम ड्रॉ हो सकती है, गोइंग टू विदिट्स गेम जहां नोदरबेक इज नाउ थिंकिंग. सो क्लियरली दिस इज अ मूव ही डिड नॉट एक्सपेक्ट फ्रॉम विदित. एंड लुक एट विदित लुकिंग इनटू द कैमरा राइट नाउ, ही मस्ट बी थिंकिंग कि भाई मेरे को आज हारना नहीं है. यू वांट टू गेट ऑफ द स्कोर कार्ड, राइट? आप कितने बड़े बैट्समैन हो, जब तक आप जीरो पे हो, आई थिंक यू आर अंडर प्रेशर, यू वांट सम रन्स अगेंस्ट योर नेम. सो यहाँ पे ड्रॉ या विन करना बहुत जरूरी फॉर विदित. Hanging pawns be hair, but I don't think he shows his face. I feel like without showing your face, आपकी personality नहीं आती. I find it hard to learn. I want to see somebody. I want to see somebody while I'm learning. Chess Talk, Chess Talk is a great channel, I think. Even Amir Khan admired it. I think इससे बड़ा, बोलते ना एक वो होता ना क्या testimonial नहीं मिल सकता. But I feel like uh, I personally want to see channels जहाँ खाली opening lines now. I don't know if you agree with that. Like I like channels Levi का है ना, it's a bit of everything. Like I like channels जहाँ पे सब कुछ हो, not just open. I think Chess Talk is more opening, so not something like I would follow, for example. But it's a great channel, of course, man. Love that guy. आपका स्ट्रीमिंग के अलावा अदर सोर्स इनकम क्या है भाई? चिल्लाना. डेली बेसिस पे जो तुम सुनते हो. Meanwhile, Vidit don't take opponent time. Why exactly? Why? In fact, I would say Vidit को opponent time पे सोचना चाहिए. जब नोदिबेक सोच रहा है, let's think during that time, yeah, ताकि he doesn't take too much time in his own move. Meanwhile, going to the game of Arjun, do we have a move? No moves just yet. यहाँ सोच रहे हैं हमें कि भाई क्या करूं मैं आखिर, मतलब कोई एडवांटेज का चांस है भी कि नहीं है, कि ऑलरेडी ड्रॉ कर लिया. मीनवाइल कोई भी गेम में आज कुछ क्रेजी नहीं दिख रहा है. सो गोइंग बैक टू विदित, आई थिंक दिस इज द क्रेजी वन. नोदरबेक बाय द वे इज थिंकिंग कि भाई मुझे विदित को हराना है, बिकॉज विदित इज एट द बॉटम ऑफ द स्टैंडिंग्स, ही इज 0 out of 2, राइट. सो वो सोच रहा है कि भाई मुझे ब्लैक से जीतना है. एंड नोदरबेक इज बाय द वे मूविंग टुवर्ड्स 2800 नाउ. ही इज 2780, right? 27, yes, he's 2780. So he defeats with it, he goes to 2785 roughly. So he wants to win this game, not draw this. So wo banda draw nahi lega bhai. So that's why I think this game is going to be very sharp, like complete contrast to the Arjun game, which is very equal. So let's look at some moves. I think idea are ruke c8 is a move. But chat, question to you, ठीक है, strategic question. And this is why I say कि खाली opening channels मुझे उतने, I'm not a big fan. Which rook should we bring to c8? A rook or F rook? Come on, chat. 20 points is a lot, but it's not that close, far away now, yeah? I mean, 2800 पहुंच जाएगा. He will be the first Uzbekistan player ever to do so. Come on, chat. What do you think is the best move? By the way, he plays queen a5. He was scared about this bishop being, kind of a discover attack threat. But I think अगर कोई भी rook चलना है, maybe rook f c8 is better. Because the rook on a8 is already defending this pawn and can be used later. But rook on f8 is not doing anything. The only question is, will I need the rook on the e or the d files? Likely not. e4 square is well controlled. And d5 pawn is well defended right now. So knowing this, rook f c8, kind of making sure ki bhai, I'm putting pressure here. Of course, we might double up rooks anyways. But rook f c8 maybe right now is a better practical move. Gives a task for the piece which is not doing anything. So you सबसे बेकार piece को improve करो, improve the worst place piece. And right now, Nodebek I think did not find it. He was worried about this discover attack. So उन्होंने queen f5 खेल दिया, but not the best move. And now Vidit has an opportunity to play c4 and get rid of his weak pawn on c3. Come on, VD. Let's push that pawn. He can also play queen b4, by the way. Very logical move. If you take now, white is clearly better, I think. Like structure solve ho gaya. I have the c file, bishop pair. White is clearly better. So Nodirbek ko marna nahi hai. He might pick up this pawn though. But then you have rook a1, queen c4 only move, takes, and now you can play rook a6, rook a1 incoming. Ye bishop bhi hai, and you'll win the pawn back. And white is absolutely fine. So I think queen b4 also a very, very nice move for Vidit, but tougher to find, I think, than c4. Chess page one, I've heard of that channel also, bilkul. But I feel like, again, I mentioned, I want to face, I want to learn from. I look at Nodirbek, yeah, kind of staring at Vidit right now, ki bhai, tu kya kar lega, bhai? I'm going to put pressure on you every single move. क्या करोगे वीडी भाई? आ रहा है मेरा रुक ऑन c8, c3 pawn दे दो मुझे. By the good question, why not bishop takes c4? I think इसका सवाल का जवाब को सिंपल मिल जाना चाहिए कि फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ब्लैक कैन ऑफ कोर्स टेक विद द पॉन, सिंपल. उनका ये जो वीकनेस था आपने उसको हटा दिया मेरे मेरे नजर से. दूसरा, आपका किंग वीक हो चुका है एंड ब्लैक ऑलरेडी हैज अ लाइट बिशप हियर. सो आई थिंक दिस इज वेरी रिस्की. यहां पे मेट होने के चांसेस बढ़ते जा रहे हैं. एंड अगर ये पॉन यहां होता, दिस कुड बी बॉर्डर लाइन लॉस्ट. एटलीस्ट f3 स्क्वायर अभी कवर्ड है, सो गेम इज नॉट लॉस्ट. सो गिविंग अप दैट स्ट्रॉन्ग बिशप, इसके बड़े सपने हैं भाई. इसमें बहुत पोटेंशियल है. दिस इज द मैक्स वर्स्टैपेन ऑफ 2020, लाइक 2018. इसका गोल है वर्ल्ड चैंपियन बनने का भाई. वी कांट एक्सचेंज हिम ऑफ फॉर एनी अदर प्लेयर. But you played great move with it. On the board c4 खेल दिया है. Excellent move. Before black can play rook f c8, he exchanges off the weakness जो बहुत बहुत important target black का हो सकता था. Meanwhile, chat, Arjun game make nazar quickly. We have a couple of moves after h6 queen b3 was played, and now b7 pawn पे हल्की सी नजर, and also you defend queen a2, so वो idea हट चुका है. Now the knight is not under pin. Knight takes f3, bishop takes f3, very important, pawn से मारोगे तो king weak, and now b6 played. Now you want to play this move, this is your dream move, but I think takes के बाद, like rook takes में there is queen takes b7, and pawn takes में there is queen b7, which is slightly returning. Yeah, pawn हमारे थोड़े से split हो गए. So that's why I think he doesn't play bishop c6 instantly. He first plays pawn to b6. And next, of course, if given the time, at some point I would love to play this. Maybe not instantly because मारने के बाद ये re-8 check आ रही है. Now the queen doesn't control the d8 square because of this pawn. But at some point हम खेलेंगे. Do you read comments from YouTube or something? By YouTube, we are reading on YouTube right now. Divesh, shogi ball जानते हो क्या? I've heard of this, but I've not played it ever. At some point, we'll love to try it out. By the way, look at MAMEDYAROV. He's, I think, in his mind thinking about dinner में क्या order करना है, because this game is gonna be equal. Why no women tournament in Uzbekistan? I think it depends, right? I mean, they have a challengers, they have a futures. You can look at it in different ways. Also, it's not easy to have top level women players sometimes in all countries, right? Because like for example, Divya and all these women players, पांच तो नॉर्वे चेस ही खेल रहे थे. So those five are busy and might not have had time to play, for example. So I think it depends on what the sponsors want, what the organizers want, the availability, and multiple other things. So meanwhile, going to the game of VIDIT back, by the way, जहां पे c4 के बाद NODIRBEK takes, VIDIT takes with the rook. Very important कि यहाँ bishop e6 possible नहीं है, वरना खत्म game. And now rook a8 के बाद, chat, question to you. What should white play? Come on, let's go. ये स्ट्रेटेजिक डिसीजन है, एंड ये कोई भी प्लेयर जो 1000 से ऊपर रेटेड है उसको आना चाहिए. यू कैन नॉट मेक अ मिस्टेक हियर. वाइट टू प्ले, व्हाट इज द बेस्ट मूव? द बेस्ट चैनल टिक्कूस चैनल, फेस भी है, लर्निंग वेरी, थैंक यू भाई. फेस भी और बहुत चीजें भी है भाई. How does Magnus win in majority of equal end games? Because he has so much experience in kind of putting one threat here, then going to the king side, then going to the queen side, then the king side. He keeps confusing you. And that understanding is just, I think, a bit of talent and a lot of practice. Yes, you want to play rook f c1. The worst move I see is rook a4 because it would be nice, but the rook is actually hanging by. So just bishop takes a4 and you will have to resign. Rook says c8, second best move, but I think इसके बाद opponent को c5 मिल गई. Even though you can't come to c2 instantly, but c3 available है. Ideally, you want to play rook fc1. आपने rook double कर लिए, and you are completing your control. You're still maintaining control of the c file. अगर black गलती से मार दे, after queen takes c4, I have complete control over this. And chat, question to you: can black play rook c8 now? Rooks are best when they are doubled, by the way. Strategic principle, they are best when they are doubled. Can black play rook c8? Is that possible, chat? Simple. That will tell you the move ki bhai, why rook c1 was so good. Simple problem. I think anybody of 1000 should know this in a second, like second basically. Yes, if rook c8, back rank, protect your back rank bhai. बचा के रखो, queen sack, rook sack, knight e8, and it is checkmate. So that's the point. Going back, that's why I think rook c1 is the best, and VD भाई खेल देने चाहिए थे अब तक. I'm not surprised कि he's gonna play it. I know he'll play it. The problem is, why has he not played it so far? It's my problem. अब तक खेल देना चाहिए था उसको. That's my only problem. कि भाई खेल क्यों नहीं रहा बंदा? खेलो भाई, खेलो rook f c1. Come on, come on, come on. He's thinking. Vidit bhai, सबसे strategic moves खेलो, rook f c1. By the way, Arjun game एक quick dive करते हैं. Okay, no moves after a3. Arjun is still thinking. So let's jump back to the Arjun Vidit game. Arjun is absolutely fine. How to improve blind spot? भाई मैंने एक short बनाया इसके ऊपर. बहुत जल्दी I think आएगा. So check my Instagram. अभी literally इसी topic के ऊपर बनाया है. सो आई थिंक जस्ट चेक माई इंस्टाग्राम, वो रील आएगी बहुत जल्दी इस हफ्ते में कभी ना कभी, आई डोंट नो किस डे के लिए स्केड्यूल्ड है, बट इट कम सून. Will take time in this type of move. No, I think he's not. He knows this is the best move. He's just trying to think. Ki bhai, see, he's playing that move. Yeah, he's playing. He's trying to see what after this, like takes ke baad, what options does black have. He's going much deeper into the variations. He knows this is the best move in a second. What should be your board for the Olympiad? I think आज काफी सवाल ओलंपियाड पे आ रहे हैं कल और आज भी. I think for me, Gukesh deserves to be on board one still. Even though he's struggling right now, his form is not great. I want to stick to what has worked. I want to see Gukesh on board one. And मेरा मानना है, this is a hunch, I have no insider information, Gukesh might not even play on board 3, for example. Like he might say, मुझे नहीं खेलना फिर. So I feel like he's kind of gotten into form whenever he's played the Olympiad. He should use that event as kind of the pad to kind leverage pad to kind of to kind of get back in form. So he should play on board one. Yeah, played. Rogasian played as expected. And now what does NODIRBEK do? I think NODIRBEK ne Queen F5 was a slight miss. And now I think it's going to be very hard again for him to win this one. I think काफी logical move है, position है विदित के लिए. No weaknesses whatsoever. A2 is well defended. ठीक है. Bishops defend these pawn. King is very well defended. Two knights यहाँ पे थोड़े loose लग रहे हैं. In the end game, मान लो end game आ गया as it is, I can play F3, E4, kick the knights back, and then keep pushing these pawns all the way to F4 and E5. And ये bishop क्या खतरनाक piece होगा. So I feel like this is a very comfortable position for Vidit. In fact, black should try to get the bishop pair, and that's why he should play knight to d2 here quickly. Attacking the queen and the rook, bishop takes first, queen takes first, and now this is even. Now this is equal because bishop pair nahi hai white ke paas, and the game will likely end in a draw. Kuch bhi aur khela agar NODIRBEK ne, I think Vidit might have chances to win this also. This is genuinely possible. By the way, he loves endgame. He's like an endgame player. So he could squeeze it down. So knight d2 is something NODIRBEK should play if he wants to avoid any signs of trouble in the endgame. Otherwise, VD has genuine chances of winning this as well. Tikwa Neiman and huge pressure. Nahi, bhai. What theory है भाई वो लटके बैठे. Don't worry. I see this position. I know you're saying this, but वो मार देगा यार pawn. And this is nothing to be worried about. Bishop e2, rook c1, pawn c3, bishop c3. सब exchange हो जाएगा भाई. So Hans Niemann is going to be in an equal position. Not worried about that. Let's go to Arjun. We have a few moves. After b6, a3, finally queen comes to c5. So again, it's just this move doesn't really have a clear goal. It's just centralizing the queen, making it active. And now, for example, agar white yahan knight e4 khelta hai, right? Trying to exchange this, you can possibly take, then bring the queen to c2 long term and have some counterplay, so to speak. If rook d7, there's also rook c1 check, for example. So just preparing, keeping yourself prepared for any possibilities. But this is objectively dead equal. I don't see the bishop exactly. Okay, वो देख लिया हमने Hans का game. MGD1 also won last year when Arjun was on board one. Yeah, but I don't think MGD1 is sending a team this year, right? I don't think they are sending a team. In the FIDIT team Rapid and Blitz, I think you mean. Arjun plays well against 26 souls but struggles with 27 souls. I also disagree there. I think he's played very well against 27 souls. He does struggle against some players. Magnus in particular, for example, is somebody who has a good record against Arjun in classical. But I don't think it's like Arjun is, he struggles like, against 27. That's not the case at all. भाई 2800 रेटिंग पहुंचने के लिए आपको 2700 तो हराने पड़ेंगे नहीं. Like there's no way you reach 2809 in the live ratings without crushing a huge bunch of 2700s, I think. So yeah, disagree on that one, but I agree with your point कि 2600 के against he's much stronger like than other players. They are sending the team kya? Oh wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that. That's very nice. Wait, what? He did play knight e4. I just looked at this move. Queen c5 was well prepared against this move. So very interesting. Knight e4. He takes instantly. And now the question is, does he pick up the knight or does he pick up the bishop? Because usually you would think taking the bishop makes more sense because bishop, pawns on both sides of the board, bishop would make more sense. But also queen and knight can be a deadly combo sometimes. So, you have to also factor that in. देखते हैं वो bishop, he takes the bishop, okay? He's taking the bishop. Now, what does Arjun do? By the way, queen c1 check is possible. Queen c1, very logical. And yahan pe agar aap chat, look at this chat question. Maybe Arjun has a trap chat. Arjun has a trap. Look at this. After rook d7, he is going to play queen c1 check and move your move now, chat. White to play. What should white play here? Arjun Erigesi has a clever trap, bhai. That's why he played queen c5. That's why he played queen c5. Now I get it. Knight e4, knight e4, rook d7. What should, Mamedyarov play after queen c1? क्या मूव होगी यहां पे? I see rook d1, rook d1, rook d1, rook d1. And rook d1 is a blunder. Rook d1 is a blunder, bhai. That I think is his point. The only move here, bishop d1, by the way, knight c5 is a simple fork first. That is lost. He plays it. He plays it. Only move queen d1. I think, of course, Mitra finds it. Yeah, he will find it because at queen d1 ke baad, you don't have time to pick up the pawn because the knight is hanging. So you will have to trade queens, queen d1, and it's a draw. If you play rook d1, there's a crazy move for Arjun. Can you find it? The winning move for Arjun. It is a beautiful move. Knight to d2, forking this and this. If you pick up the queen, rook c1 check, king here, I pick up the queen. And if you move the queen somewhere, I don't know, queen a4, then I pick this up with check first, gf3, and I pick up the pawn. So rook d1 is a blunder, but nah, queen chal raha hai, bhai. There is no chance he blunders this, yeah? There is zero chance he blunders this. Yeah, queen d1 played. And now I think you can just pick this up. You can also play knight g5. You can also play knight f6, and it's completely equal. Atrasov player finds queen d1. Yes, of course. I think Atrasov will also find queen d1. But it's possible to miss. Like, it's possible to miss when your guard is down, right? You think dead draw hai, sab kuch draw hai. Sometimes you can forget about this. Tiku always asks what Arjun do, but never how is Arjun. Are, Sehaj bhai, what's up? Aja bhai, kahi free ho gaye to. Bhai, heartbreak. Nahi yaar, I always ask how is Arjun? But Arjun is always good, bhai. That's the good news. He's always smiling, as we see when he wins. Like, it's very easy to spot when Arjun is, feeling low and feeling nice. So instantly, when he's feeling low, I message his, manager ki bhai, how is he feeling? जब भी Arjun expression दिखाया है sad के, we have texted him. By the way, rook d1, he exchanges queens. Rook d1 आ चुका है. And now knight e6, very nice move. The plan is d7 square controlled. I have the c file. There is no way on earth black is worse. Like, it's completely equal. Arjun OP indeed. What a comfortable draw, man, as black. Like, मतलब बोलते ना एक वो भी नहीं, एक मौका भी नहीं दिया सूंघने का, मतलब यहाँ पे पोजीशन को अर्जुन ने. So easy peasy, wasn't at all pressured easy. Okay, that didn't rhyme, but made sense to me. Meanwhile, video game, we have a few moves. After rook fc1, knight d2 was played. Best move played by NODIRBEK. He understood कि भाई bishop pair बहुत जरूरी है. Now should played, and now what is he thinking? I think he's thinking पहले ये मारूं कि पहले ये मारूं. I think he should just take the bishop. Yeah, he should just take the bishop, I think. Sesse in the chat. Arre. And meanwhile, going back to the Arjun game, अब यहाँ पे I don't even know if they play on. Yeah, I think a draw could be a very nice setup here. Tiku recommend a book to learn the Kole system. I think Kole is a new weapon to shoot yourself in the head sometimes. So I think इस पे book लिखी नहीं गई है अभी. But maybe कभी कोई लिखेगा. Maybe Sehaj bhai, you can be the first one. Chess में बहुत किताबें लिखी गई हैं. For example, how to blunder pieces, how to blunder your queen. I think I've seen a video at least. But how to learn the Kole, आज तक कुछ content या किताब नहीं बनी है. Maybe and chessable course तो बिल्कुल नहीं. So you can be the first one, Sehaj bhai, to make one. Yeah, Chole Bhature I think is preferable over Kole Bhature. I agree. How to play bird? I think bird's opening मेरे हिसाब से 1f4 है ना भाई. I would not recommend it. I think it's too risky. आप किंग को पहले मूव पे ओपन कर रहे हो, उससे बेटर तो कॉल ही खेल दो, मतलब आई एम गोइंग दैट डाउन, लाइक इतना डेप्थ में घुसना पड़ रहा है मुझे। ठीक है भाई, हैंड्स अंडर ह्यूज प्रेशर, भाई इजंट ही ऑलवेज दो, व्हाट्स न्यू, सेल्फ इम्पोज प्रेशर। ट्वीट करने के बाद कॉले भटूरे, बिल्कुल भाई, दिल्ली के फेवरेट कॉले भटूरे। आई नो कॉलेज सिस्टम इन आर जुडिश, अरे बाप रे, ये क्या हो गया भाई, ये तो ज्यादा डीप घुस गया। बाय द वे, ओके, मैं वाज थिंकिंग बट आई डोंट थिंक ही हैज एनीथिंग हियर। um I mean, bishop against knight is useful. That might tempt him to keep playing. But still, man, he knows अर्जुन अर्जुन है भाई, ये तो गड़बड़ नहीं करेगा। तभी को ओपनिंग देखूं, मेरा दिन दिमागा बोले कोले, अरे वाह 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 भाई, सहज भाई राइटिंग सॉन्ग्स एट दिस पॉइंट, मतलब गाने लिखने में एक्सपर्ट है, मतलब ये क्लियरली इज द वर्क ऑफ एआई। बात इंसान सोच नहीं सकते ये चीज। I thinking if I played very logical, let's play rook c8, rook c2, sorry. Love that move. Also king f8, king e7, also very logical chess. बाय द वे, निकोलस भाई बेटर है अगेंस्ट इयान नेपोमनाची, तो नेपो भाई दूसरी गेम हारने वाले तीन में से। उफ मैन, वो कीड़े फिर से घुस गए। बाद में गोइंग टू द गेम ऑफ विदित, जहां पे नोदिरबेक ने क्वीन डी2 मार दिया है, काफी लॉजिकल। एंड नाउ कैन विदित put on some pressure or not, because I think it's completely equal, at least he could even play queen c3 here अगर उनको draw ही चाहिए। queen c3 is kind of forcing a draw, because you can't play queen takes a2 because rook a1 नहीं है, rook a1 पे there's queen c4, first you take, you can't take with the rook because there's back rank mate, as we saw, this is back rank mate, so knight e8 queen e8, तो आपको bishop से मारना पड़ेगा। And once you take with the bishop, now rook a1 and the queen is kind of trapped. सारे square हमारे covered है with some piece. So yeah, I think queen c3 could be a very nice move to really suffocate Nodrbek, because उसके बाद कुछ है नहीं उनके पास गेम में। Are we celebrating Arjun's game when it's a draw? The thing is, yaar, black say na, you judge your opening preparation by how easy was it to equalize for you. So Arjun equalized literally in the easiest way I have seen in the last month or so. इससे ज्यादा equalization मैं देखा नहीं आज तक. So he did his job. अब white ने push नहीं किया, मौका नहीं दिया to gain advantage. That is fair enough. So Arjun का draw, from his point of view, he did a great job to draw today. And now, I mean, look at this. Yeah, we just what 1 hour into the broadcast, 1.5 hours, completely even position. Rook active है, knight active है. I mean, I don't see the issue. Completely even. भाई बहुत थोड़ा चेंज हो गया भाई. Huh, now it's back, I think. Yes, it's back. So going to the Vidit game again, jahan thoda oh, he plays queen c2, which is also very nice, because now you can't avoid the trade because rook attacked there. So if queen a5, I pick up the free rook and resigns. So Nodibek has to take, no other option. And now I would even take with this rook, taki, like there's no attack on my rook at some point, and back rank thodi safe rahegi. Next I will play e3, and chat, this is going to be a draw. Today, chat might be the shortest day we have seen in 2026 in terms of streaming. We might see the stream end in under 2 hours. Sami bhai keh rahe mat bolo, because whenever somebody says it, it usually drags longer. But Sami bhai, aaj possible hi nahi hai. Aaj possible hi nahi hai. I'll be shocked if the stream is going to last more than 6 p.m. Chat, I will be genuinely shocked. Now it depends. नोदिबेक को ड्रॉ चाहिए कि नहीं. If he plays on with a5, rook b8, says कि भाई मैं विन के लिए खेल रहा हूं, maybe it could. Nah, no chance, bhai. The shortest stream of 2026, less than 2 hours, is gonna be today. साहिल टिंकू, अरे अरे भाई, मेरा मेरा लोग मुझे स्कूल में टिक्की करके बुलाते. टिक्की इज लाइक अ कैच फ्रेज. सो टिक्की बॉल पास कर, फुटबॉल टिक्की गोल कर, टिक्कू भाई मेरी टिक्की मेरी बंदी मत छीन, लाइक दिस वाज द काइंड ऑफ dialogue I used to hear in my school days. Meanwhile, still no moves by Vidit, but I think he should take now. कोई ऑप्शन है नहीं. अगर रुक ज्यादा कुछ हैंकी पैंकी करेगा तो भाई, you know, this is how you lose the game in 2 moves. So yeah, let's just take the rook. ज्यादा ड्रामा नहीं करते यहाँ पे. um टिक्कू अपनी टिक्की को बचा. Serious question, what does टिक्कू mean? टिक्कू, I don't know what it means. I asked my parents बचपन में, मुझे याद नहीं actually. Sahil humor, no chat, take that back. साहिल ह्यूमर, नो चैट. ये समझ ही नहीं आया भाई. आई एम जस्ट टू टायर्ड मैन, आई एम जेन्युइनली टायर्ड. एंड सहज भाई, आपको सब लोग ढूंढ रहे हैं, पूछ रहे हैं क्यों नहीं है सहज भाई. आई मेंशन दिस भाई, ये इवेंट के लिए एवरीबडी इज टायर्ड. I am kind of, like पहली बार I'm going to say this on stream. FIDE टीम रैपिड में से कैमरास नहीं है हमारे पास. पहली बार अंदर से आधे लोग खुश है. पहली बार लोग खुश है कि कैमरा नहीं है हमारे पास, बिकॉज everybody is tired, budget wise, energy wise, like it's like this year is packed, and I'm very glad to have a year jahan pe itne tournament hai. I'm honored to be commentating. Sehaj bhai feels the same, but everybody is tired, man. Like it's just insane कि कितना tiring schedule है इस साल. And you will see this in the coming weeks. कैसे back to back है. BCC होगा इसके बाद. This event ends on 15th. एक हफ्ते बाद बुलेट चेस चैंपियनशिप, उसके 3 दिन बाद जीसीटी जागरेब, उसके एक हफ्ते बाद चेन्नई जीएम, उसके खत्म होते ही अगस्त इज 1 मंथ जहां थोड़ा रिलैक्स्ड है, उसमें भी ईडब्ल्यूसी है. देन सितंबर तो पूरा मंथ तुम लोग देख रहे हो. अक्टूबर इज हाफ पैक्ड, नवंबर दिसंबर इज फुली पैक्ड. ई स्पोर्ट्स नेशंस कप एंड वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप, देन एंड आई he's taken on C8. सो ये साल बड़ा मजा आएगा. By the rook takes c, bishop takes c8 के बाद chat officially I would say white has the central pawn. E4 f4 जल्दी फेंकना चाहिए उनको, because otherwise long term black can also have his play with the outside pass pawn, right? अगर ये bishop और knight सारे trade हो गए, I think black could be even better because this is a huge distraction. So white should gain a lot of space, not exchange both the minor pieces ideally, and this should be a comfortable draw. I think it's completely equal. Are you from family chess background? No, bhai. My parents don't know chess. I just played as a kid a couple of times and I loved it. So no chess background there. I have a friend named Tikku. He's a Kashmiri Pandit. Yes, bhai. I am also a Kashmiri Pandit. Sahil Tikka, ye kya hai, bhai? I'm not going to say this word. I don't even know what this means. Last time 8:30 prediction was almost right. That's last time prediction was accurate within 2 minutes. So I think इस बार देखते हैं 6 PM से पहले. It might be even earlier, by the way. Right now, भाई मदर मीना वो क्या हो गया है? बिल्कुल आई अग्री भाई. बंदा मतलब सिंधारव की सारी पेप लीक कर रहा है. सिंधारव रोज उसको वॉइस नोट भेजता होगा भाई ऐसे. अबे मादामीनोव, एक और प्रेप लीक कर दिया. वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप में खेलना है कि नहीं खेलना है? मैंने सारी प्रेप तू ही ले लेगा तो मैं क्या खेलूंगा? हलवाएगा यार तू. क्या करूं मैं इसका, क्या करूं भाई? सारी वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप लीक कर रहा है भाई. Okay, going back to the Arjun game chat. Any hope? Not really. I think ये draw होने वाला है chat. Arjun is gonna play some move. I think rook c2 is the easiest way, and there it is on the board. This kind of forces a draw, right? Because you don't have rook d2 now. So you have to play rook d8 check. In fact, if I had to choose a color, I might even choose black here. Because ये pawns exchange जाएंगे and then you will have pawns on this side. It's just completely even, I think. No hope. ये game तो 15 मिनट के अंदर खत्म हो रही है. 15 minutes I will give this game. And this game I would give maybe slightly longer, like half an hour max. So 6 बजे से पहले सारी games आज खत्म. Literally has not exactly. He's following that pattern. सुंदर ने copy किया, but he's also leaking a lot of prep, I feel, जो दोनों ने साथ में देखा होगा. There is no way he's not used some prep from the candidates. यार कुछ ना कुछ तो use किया होगा वो भाई. Because he's playing perfect chess till move 2030. A 2580 player would not have such deep prep. He would usually do it for somebody else. So I think he's kind of using the prep he worked with Sundarov with. I think वो use कर रहे हैं वो. Knight c6 wins a pawn. Does it? Socho, what does black play now, chat? Knight c6, nice move. And this is maybe the way for Vidit to gain equality if he wants it. But what is the only move for black now? So you are right. If I save the a pawn, there is knight e7 and you win the piece. And if I save the bishop, then the pawn goes. But what can black do as a counter attack here? Black to play. Yeah, he's definitely under it. I think at least by 50 points. He should be around 2650 now. His opening prep is 2700 level. So I think that alone helps him a lot. Yes, it is bishop e6 because you take this and I pick up this. So that is the move, chat. That is the move. So it is absolutely fine here. No pressure whatsoever. And Sejai, mujhe yaad lana, I have to talk to you about something. Mujhe yaad lana by something else. But meanwhile, bishop e8 on the board. I forgot. I'll make a note of it. By the way, okay, bishop c8 ke baad, what does white do now? I think he could go for this. That's possible. or he could just play f4, e4, e5, bring the king all the way to the center and just play with the king as an active piece. And I mean, black white can never be worse there. साहिल टिंकू वर्सेस सागुर शाह, अरे भाई भाई ऐसे नाम मत दो यार, भगवान ने नाम दिए हमें इतने बढ़िया से, क्यों खराब कर रहे हो? बाय द गोइंग टू द नेम ऑफ गेम ऑफ अर्जुन एरिगेसी. भाई आई एम सेइंग Mamedov has to be careful now. After rook a2, who is better? I am not sure who's better, bhai. I think Mamedyarov should be very careful of not making a mistake. He should quickly put the rook on d3 before it gets a bit tricky. Like as black, I am thinking like, okay, if I win this pawn, I am in the game. Graphics are poor. भाई मैं करता हूं, पेंट करता हूं भाई, पेंट करता हूं नए ग्राफिक्स अभी बैठ के इसके बाद. अपना स्किल मुझे दिखाना ही पड़ेगा, अंदर का स्किल, अंदर वाला स्किल दिखाना पड़ेगा मुझे. FIDE World Rapid, that's FIDE World Rapid Teams. उसके कैमरास नहीं है हमारे पास unfortunately, so if we had the camera we would stream, but वो कैमरास नहीं है. But we'll be back for Bullet Chess Championship उसके बाद. निहाल के upcoming tournaments, I want to see going on 2750. He is playing a classical event right now. He played one, I think, Stefan Memorial something during Norway Chess. उसका जो हम stream करेंगे अगला event, that will be Bullet Chess Championship. That's a format Nihal loves. So if you're a Soul fan, Nihal fan, you should be there during that event. So I do a sub battle, Sahaj bhai. Yeah, sub battle is like 2020, 2021 content. यार अब उतना मजा नहीं आता sub battle करने में. I don't know why. Like it's not that much fun. We can do it at some point for the giggles for sure. But it's not that much fun. Like I don't know why. बहुत कर लिया, और मैं समय की sub battle इतनी हारा हूं ना, तो इतना मेरे को पॉजिटिव मेमोरीज भी नहीं है. And Chad, you can go and check this. Whenever I did a sub battle for Samay, I lost every single time. But when Samay was not there and B stats was leading it, I won every single time. So Samay issue है भाई. भाई समय के लिए खेलना is a lot of pressure, and you see how pressure affects you. भाई समय सब भी होने चाहिए भाई. Sub battle, I think people used to do, I used to do when I had 200 subs literally. I think it is possible to do regardless of the subs. Like it doesn't matter. इस बार उस चेस में लाइट इतनी कम क्यों है? पिछली बार तो बहुत थी. बाय आई थिंक दे फॉलोड लाइक अ पैटर्न. आजकल बहुत इवेंट्स में, टेपे सिग्नल में भी था, जहां पे लाइक लाइट विल बी ऑन द टेबल्स एंड बाकी सब अंधेरा 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 कायम रहे भाई. आई एम इन इट. लाइक ऐसे प्लेयर बोर्ड से उठे तो दिखने ही नहीं चाहिए भाई. मिस्ट्री. एंड देन दे कैन डू द बैटमैन एंट्री. ऐसे अंधेरे से निकलेंगे भाई. यू merely adopted the dark. I walked in it. Did my 10K steps in it. Tiku bhai, knight versus bishop. Bishop all the way. I think Mukesh is feeling the same pressure that Ding was facing. I think Ding had health issues. He had other reasons. He wasn't able to play at top level. Mukesh के पास बहुत support है, बहुत sponsors है, बहुत practice करने की opportunities हैं. I don't think he has the same pressure that Ding had. Ding was probably had less pressure and more health problems. Mukesh has more pressure, but he has more opportunity also. So I don't think he can go with the Ding pattern. Ki by Ding struggled, so I struggled. I don't think so. Seeing India's form, will they dominate? Yes, I hope so. I hope so. Not to the same level, but yes. Tiku confirmed his Bane in next Batman movie. भाई लेकिन बॉडी तो आप बना रहे हो. But let's see. I think by Bane की तरह, maybe not Bane. Let me. Who can I be? Maybe Catwoman I can be. With my sleek, let's say flexibility, I can be Catwoman. Oh, by the way, Rook A2 played. ऐसे भी Cat Gambit तो मैंने समय से सीखा ही है. Rook A2 played. Now White has to be careful. Chat. Rook D3 only move, चाहे directly या फिर check देने के बाद. You have to play Rook D3. You merely adapted to the dark. I was born by it. Yeah, वही भाई, मतलब potato वही हो गया. When is Arjun's next tournament OTB? भाई पहले ये खत्म कर ले, जीत जाए, मतलब बताएंगे. There is some drama going on behind the scenes, तो बता नहीं सकते. But कुछ भी हो सकता है भाई, कुछ भी हो सकता है. But I think maybe knowing trends, he always plays the Chennai GM. So I think he might play the Chennai GM next. Like over the board classical की बात कर रहा हूं मैं. There's a storm coming, Mr. Wayne. Yes. Everybody's waiting for that storm. इतनी गर्मी है भाई, 45 degrees हो रहा है इंडिया में. Everybody's waiting. जल्दी आ जाए भाई, जल्दी से जल्दी. ASAP. Is there live audience in UzChess? I don't know actually. Do we have like a beauty cam? By the way, why do we call it a beauty cam? I don't know. Like it's interesting terminology. कि ब्यूटी कैम क्यों है? सही भाई हमारे प्रोड्यूसर सो गए लगता है. डू वी हैव अ ब्यूटी कैम सही भाई? एक बार लगा सकते हैं क्या? वुड लव टू सी इफ देयर इज एनी ऑडियंस. आई डोंट थिंक सो. इससे तो पता नहीं लग रहा भाई. आई डू नो कि यहाँ पे खाना पड़ा हुआ है. लाइक जस्ट बिहाइंड द कैमरा देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ फूड, टेस्टी फूड. सो दैट्स व्हाट आई एम जेलस ऑफ. इतना टेस्टी खाना खा रहे हैं लोग. ऑडियंस है कि नहीं आई एम नॉट श्योर. होगी शायद, पॉसिबली होगी यार. So let's go back to the Arjun camp. By the way, I love this camera angle. अच्छा है. And now Rook D3 only move, I think. He has to save the A3 pawn. Otherwise, Arjun could totally take over. Played though. Okay, played. ठीक है यार, थोड़ा 15 मिनट लगेंगे इस गेम को. Checking the visit game quickly. By the way, E4 King F8 played. Let's go. I think end game है F4. अब तो सहज भाई बुरा नहीं मानेंगे F4 खेलने के लिए. E5. आज नहीं आ सकते. आज जब तक ज्वाइन करो तो गेम खत्म हो चुकी है भाई. Today's gonna be the shortest stream ever. भाई आज स्ट्रीम 2 घंटे नहीं चलेगी. देयर इज नो चांस. साहिल भाई बेस्ट बुक फॉर टैक्टिक्स. भाई सॉल्व टैक्टिक्स फ्रॉम चेसकॉम पजल्स भाई. द बेस्ट. दैट्स वेयर आई सॉल्व टैक्टिक्स. एक पुराना जमाना था जहां पे ऑनलाइन सॉल्व नहीं कर सकते थे. अगर ओवर द बोर्ड करना है यू कैन स्टिल सॉल्व दोस टैक्टिक्स ओवर द बोर्ड. टेक द पोजीशन, पुट इट ओवर द बोर्ड एंड सी द सॉल्यूशन. But you don't play the move until you've seen the entire variation. By the E5 played, and now Black has only two moves. Don't play knight d7 because there is bishop s3 and something is cooking actually. So you have to play knight g8 or knight e8 here. Otherwise, VIDIT could be better. Bhai sahab. Of course, NODIRBEK will find it, but you never know. You never know. दोनों Indians are the ones, like दोनों games में it's equal, but दोनों games में Indians are the one who are pushing. It's so nice to see with it slightly better on the draw के slightly better side पे खेलते हुए. Divya Vaishali, who is better in classical? I think maybe current form Vaishali because she won the candidates. She also won that WR chess, that event. She also won that one, and that was rapid and blitz. So maybe Vaishali form wise, but I think overall they are almost evenly matched. Yeah, Divya won the World Cup, so that's commendable. So I think both are quite neck to neck. I think rating wise भी they're kind of almost equal. By the 98 best move played by NODIRBEK. गलती करने में विश्वास करते नहीं है वो. Meanwhile, going to the game of Arjun, Jahan, bhai, he is playing G5. Believe it or not, he's playing for a win. I am not kidding. He's genuinely playing for a win. I think his plan is H5 and G4. And that's a very nice plan. For example, if you play Rook C3, just to play Rook C7, okay, now King G7 first to defend this pawn, ताकि Rook C7 पे, now I can take this. And let's say you wait. आप कहते हो भाई मुझे लाइफ में कोई स्ट्रेस है ही नहीं. Now H5, you wait, and यहाँ पे can I play G4? I can already play G4. Takes and bishop को अब यहाँ जाना पड़ेगा भाई. Because यहाँ जाओगे तो there is Rook A1 ideas and it's getting tricky. So it's some slight बोलते हैं ना मूंगफली बराबर प्रेशर बन रहा है. But okay, still equal man. I don't think Mamedyarov is the player. यहाँ कोई crazy गलती करेगा. सर भाई ओपरा गेम और इमॉर्टल गेम. भाई I would say ओपरा गेम. Although I'm confused, ओपरा वाली कौन सी है, इमॉर्टल कौन सी है? I might be confusing the games actually. उल्टा समझ रहा हूँ मैं. How to buy Chennai tickets? Please help. भाई Chennai tickets आएंगी. Whenever they have, you will find it on their Instagram. तो वहाँ टिकट मिल जाएगी आपको. उनको फॉलो करो. Arjun Yahala both playing for MG1. Aye, nice. That'll be very nice to see. So I saw you and Prakhar's interview on CBL. Loved it. Yeah, we did it on Sunday. Saga bhai, thanks a lot for doing this. And I think we really shared कि हम कैसे वहाँ पे जीते. So if you want to know how Prakhar won COB, you can definitely check that video out. काफी वहाँ पे knowledge है. Because especially शायद कई बार हम top players की देखते हैं ना. I think games की okay, this is how I prepared. That doesn't apply to 99% of people in the world. So यहाँ पे you will get to know how somebody who's 1800 prepared to play better than the other 1800s. This is probably even more applicable in some cases. इंडियन सुपर टूर्नामेंट्स क्यों नहीं जीत रहे? जीतेंगे भाई, जीतेंगे. अभी जीते यार. अभी तो प्रक जीता नॉर्वे चेस. अभी तो ही won Norway chess ahead of Magnus Carlsen. And now we're going to have, potentially Arjun win this one. वैशाली won the candidate, so I would completely disagree. It's just कि जो लोग 24 में जीत रहे थे वो नहीं जीत रहे. समझ रहे हो? लाइक गुकेश नहीं जीत रहा है, दैट्स द ओनली डिफरेंस, बाकी सब लोग आर स्लोली कमिंग बैक टू फॉर्म। खुद देखो, अर्जुन इज वर्ल्ड नंबर 9, जीत पे वर्ल्ड नंबर 6, ही इज बैक इन फॉर्म। He literally was tied first with Magnus during Tepe Sigmund. Now Prag is back in form. He is basically won Norway chess. Now we have Vaishali in form, Divya in form. ठीक है, द एंड निहाल इज इन ग्रेट फॉर्म एज वेल, पूरे साल में बढ़िया खेले। द ओनली गाय नॉट इन फॉर्म इज आई थिंक मे बी गुकेश एंड अ बिट ऑफ विदित। विदित इज नॉट प्लेड फॉर अ व्हाइल, सो आई थिंक ये दोनों फॉर्म में आ जाएंगे तो इंडियन टीम परफेक्ट होगी। निहाल और नेपो इन 10+0, ऑफ कोर्स निहाल मैन, एनी डे एनी नाइट निहाल serene. Nepo is not even in his peak shape anymore, so I think Nihal anyway would have been the favorite, but now to 100%. By the going to Arjun's game for a second, or Arjun Payya going to Vidit's game for a second, we have a few moves. After 98, F4, F6 was played. Maybe a pragmatic decision, but इसका मतलब white को protect, not protected, but pass pawn तो मिल रहा है, FE5, knight C7, and basically what he's hoping for कि I'm going to create a blockade on this square, not allow you to push your pawn, and then I'm going to push my pawn. So no, अभी win के लिए खेल रहे हैं, but it feels more fantasy than reality. I think this is a completely dead draw. VDY को draw अच्छा रहेगा. It's not a bad result because he gets some points on the scoreboard against the strongest player in the event on paper. So I think this is a good result for VD even if he draws. And time-wise also, I think he managed it better today. Of course, the position was easier to play. That helped, but at least it's a positive sign. Things are moving in the right direction. Life में कभी आप कुछ एक प्रॉब्लम को टारगेट करते हो, you don't solve it on day one. You have to make incremental improvements. And I think that might show good results at the end of the event. Magnus Nihal में 10+0 would not be super one-sided. I agree. I think Magnus would be the favorite. Also depends over the board है कि online. But I agree. I think Nihal would not make it easy. It will be tough. And yes, Vidit will gain rating. By the way, Vidit will gain. I'm checking Vidit की rating अभी कितनी है, because going back to the top 100, Vidit's rating right now is 2698.4. From this draw, he will gain 1 point. So rounding off, he will technically again be 2700. So this draw alone will kind of push him to 2700, I think. But dot. It's not really 2700 because he still has to kind of maintain it for the future rounds. ठीक है भाई, आज ही चेस बोर्ड लिया. बाय द वे यार, हमें सोचता हूँ मैं कि चेस बोर्ड बेचना चाहिए. डू यू गाइस बाय चेस बोर्ड्स? लाइक आई वुड लव टू फाइंड अ पार्टनर टू सेल चेस बोर्ड्स. यार आई थिंक वी शुड डू इट एट सम पॉइंट. चेसकॉम के थ्रू या इंडिविजुअली. आई थिंक दिस समथिंग दैट एवरीबॉडी वांट्स टू बाय. लाइक आई पर्सनली वांट टू बाय अ चेस बोर्ड, या वो डीजीटी टाइप के प्रॉपर, बट इट्स सो हार्ड टू बाय इट मैन. इट्स सो हार्ड टू बाय इट. लाइक आई एम लाइक, डू आई ट्रस्ट दिस गाय, डू आई ट्रस्ट दिस गाय? I know, I think a couple of people in that ecosystem, but it's very hard. But okay, अच्छे होंगे तो खरीदेंगे. अरे नाइस भाई. तो गुकेश हैज द हाईएस्ट रिकॉर्ड ऑफ परफॉर्मेंस रेटिंग इन ओलंपिया हिस्ट्री. एग्जैक्टली 3100 कुछ परफॉर्मेंस थी, 3000 समथिंग आई थिंक ही हैड. Who is the top and bottom seed of this event? Top seed is actually Nodirbek. Second seed is Arjun. And lowest seed is another second actually. And that is MAMEDYAROV. By the way, A5, nice move by Nodirbek, clearly hinting कि भाई, you know, थोड़ा सा कुछ प्लान है मेरे पास यहाँ पे विदित भाई, थोड़ा ध्यान से. क्लास चेस बोर्ड दूंगा पर वुडन चेस बोर्ड नो. आई पर्सनली लाइक वुडन चेस बोर्ड. आई थिंक वुडन चेस बोर्ड में कुछ अलग क्लास है भाई. इट्स लाइक अ फील आती है उस पे खेलने में. प्लास्टिक या फिर वो जो मैट वाले भी ना, दे डोंट गिव मी द फील. आई लाइक द वुडन चेस बोर्ड. बाय द वे, लुकिंग एट दिस G5 G4 प्लेड बाय ये नमित्यारोव, ही रियली डिड नॉट लाइक दैट प्लान, सो उसने इंस्टेंटली रोक लिया. The only question is, does Arjun feel he has a chance here to win? I think. अगर उसको लगता है ना draw है, he could just play this. Let's say, King G2, Knight D5, Bishop D5, Rook D5, and it's a draw. This is the way to literally draw the game on the spot. Like instant draw कर सकता है if Arjun wants it. So the question is, does he feel he have winning chances? I don't think so, honestly. I think he's going to play King G7, Knight D5 and take the draw. ओलंपिया सितंबर में भाई. आई थिंक जीसीएल के जस्ट बाद. जीसीएल ऑल्सो इन सितंबर, फर्स्ट हाफ ऑफ सितंबर एंड सेकेंड हाफ इज ओलंपियाड. जीसीएल वाज अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग इवेंट बाय द वे. उसके बाद कभी कहानी और सुनाऊंगा. बट मीनवाइल, गोइंग टू द गेम ऑफ विदित अगेन. नो मूव सो फार एफ के बाद. ठीक भाई, अर्जुन टूर्नामेंट अच्छा खेल के जीत क्यों नहीं पाता? गुकेश को लिख दिया भाई लास्ट में. I would say Arjun, I think, has that problem of finishing in the last step. या last step लेने में होता है ना, कभी हम मंदिर जाते हैं, we take 1,000 steps. वो आखिरी step चढ़ने में अर्जुन को प्रॉब्लम आती है somehow. I don't know why. And I feel like Arjun is somebody who needs that unlock. एक बार वो फर्स्ट आ गया ना, क्लियर फर्स्ट, एक बार वो माइंड उसका अनलॉक हो जाएगा कि दिस इज पॉसिबल, देन ही इज गोना विन so many tournaments back to back. He'll be unstoppable. Chess comes to organize commentator league. It'll be fun. Bhai, I'll be the weakest commentator. Bhai, that's unfair. मैं ही हारूंगा भाई. So I think more than that, I think वैसे भी commentary कर सकते हैं, but I think commentary is different to playing. Like I personally feel it's quite different. Like for example, Harsha Bhogle is a great commentator, even though he's never played cricket. So I think it's a completely different skill altogether. You need chess knowledge, of course, but I still feel like it's a different skill. Peak Arjun is scary, man. He is, and imagine unlocked. होता ना, एक वो क्या था वो, जब ड्रैगन बॉल जी में जब गुरु अनलॉक करता है पावर, लाइक ऐसे गोहान और क्लेरन की, लाइक इमेजिन दैट अनलॉक फॉर अर्जुन भाई. ही विल बी लाइक अनबीटेबल. लाइक 2800 तो नीचे जाएगा नहीं कभी वो. हर्षवर्धन डिड नॉट प्ले प्रोफेशनल क्रिकेट बाय द वे. ही डिड नॉट. आप भी सकते हो अगर उन्होंने सागर भाई को इनवाइट किया तो. नहीं भाई, सागर भाई इज वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग. आई थिंक ही डजंट प्ले नाउअडेज, तो ही माइट नॉट बी एट हिज पीक, बट ही इज अ स्ट्रॉन्ग प्लेयर भाई, ऐसा नहीं है. Is Arjun having beef with some organizations? Chess, I don't know about any at least. Yeah, personally, कैसे पता होगा? See, he didn't get the GCT invites. I don't know why that's the case. But beef, बहुत, it's a very negative word, I think. And that's a draw, by the way. Look at this. Vidit Gujrati offers a draw after H4. Move 30 हो चुका था. And that is a draw. नोदरबेक को ही पता है भाई, Vidit is not in peak form, but ये position जीतना is next to impossible. So that is a draw, bhai. And nobody is more sad than our producer, Samay bhai, who loves seeing Vidit ki lambi games. But Vidit game has ended in a draw, and he gains a point of rating, and he gets a draw against the strongest player in the event. So great result for Vidit, I think, overall. And इसके साथ ही chat, ये draw हुआ है. So handshakes, smiles on the faces of both the players, and Vidit gets off the scoreboard. He gets half a point under his belt. बहुत confidence उनको मिलेगा to draw against NODIRBEK. Now it's all about Arjun. And मेरा prediction of the stream ending before 6 p.m. is still on point. अगर अर्जुन ने draw कर लिया, the stream will end in 2 hours. Can this happen, chat? Let's see. Thank you, NODIRBEK भाई, क्यों लिख रहे हो यार? समय एंड प्रोड्यूसर नहीं है भाई, हमारे समय भारती प्रोड्यूसर है. ही इज वन ऑफ द बेस्ट प्रोड्यूसर्स इन द कंट्री राइट नाउ. एंड इन्होंने ही हमारे लिए वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप प्रोड्यूस करी थी, एंड हैज प्रोड्यूस एवरी सिंगल इवेंट फॉर अस दिस ईयर. तभी देखो ना, कोई एरर नहीं है कहीं पे भी, परफेक्ट चलता है सब कुछ. एंड जो कैमरा इशू भी है, दैट आल्सो कम्स फ्रॉम द ऑर्गेनाइजर्स. तो ये देखो ना, बोर्ड अपने आप ही नाच रहा है भाई, थैंक्स टू समय भाई. गो फॉर बिग वुडन चेस बोर्ड. ओह नहीं, वो वाले नहीं भाई. आई लाइक वो स्लीक वुडन डिजाइन, बोलते ना ऐसे, उसमें मक्खन लगा दो तुम, ऐसा बोर्ड मुझे पसंद है भाई. ऐसे डिजिटी वाले अच्छे होते हैं. 2699.4 exactly. So I think he gained 1 point there. Is there a fourth virtual? I think King F8 जो उन्होंने खेला है, look at this. G4, King G7, King G2, King F8. What he's trying to do is bring the king here, ताकि रुक यहाँ ना आ पाए, and then he's going to take a call. अभी के लिए like, let me improve the king and then decide करना क्या है. Because honestly, he doesn't have a plan. The only plan I see is play King E7, Knight D7, ठीक है, and then plan to push these pawns as well. Like imagine करो अगर ये pawn यहाँ होता या ये pawn यहाँ होता, maybe something, but again it's too hypothetical. I think it's still complete. Like you can't expect Mamedyarov to make a mistake here. Wait, next match is Arjun VD. क्या बात कर रहे हो भाई? तो कल तो और जल्दी स्ट्रीम खत्म हो सकती है, but that means कि भाई yes, it's Arjun White versus VD tomorrow. भाई कल तो बिल्कुल सही टाइम पे 3:45 PM पहुंच जाना. Insane matchup tomorrow. And Arjun के white होंगे तो VD will be under pressure, yeah, from the start. Arjun की prep खेलनी पड़ेगी उनको, and Arjun will find some crazy prep as we know usually. अगर यहाँ मम्मी के पास 2 मिनट होते ना क्लॉक पे, I would still understand. With 41 minutes, brother, like I think this is a draw. I think if Mamedyarov offers a draw, Arjun will take it. No, I think we are not celebrating with its draw. We are celebrating a draw against NODIRBEK. That's very important, right? Because he's the world number 4 right now, Azmain bhai, because he's in great shape. One Tata Steel has basically been in his peak form this year. And I think that's why I'll draw. If, for example, you draw against Magnus with the white pieces, I mean, that's something to celebrate because he's very, very strong. By the way, Rook C3 played. So he's saying King E7 pay, I have Rook C7. So you can't really play King E7 right now because now I can pick up the pawn and white is now winning. So this is not possible, but black can simply play King G7. This could be a repetition chat already. King G7, Rook D3, King F8, and Rook C3. This is the genuine repetition possible, by the way. Arjun can't win this chat. It would be shocking. I think he said, and this move is a nice one. It stops King E7, which is the only plan Arjun had. So yeah, I think this is the draw. Arjun can push though. He can. I'm not saying it's a forced draw, but the thing is, यहाँ पे जीतने के लिए the kind of mistake it requires from white, there is no way Mamedyarov makes it with this time on the clock. There is no way. You could have 1,000 games they play from this. Mamedyarov कोई game नहीं हारेगा. एक भी game नहीं हारेगा यहाँ से. Like it's impossible. Who do you think is the only world champion in 20? Bhai, of course, Gukesh Apna. Nobody else. I think it was also Ponomario, I think, who did it, but it's this debatable, because split ho gaya tha Fideo's time pe, so it's debatable. Salva, who would you pick, Vidit or Hari, as choice for reserve board? I think Vidit. Because I think Vidit because Hari, I have not seen Hari play as much. Well, I've also not seen Vidit play so much, so it's very hard to discuss. But Vidit, I know, is playing a bunch of events now, and he is slightly higher rated. So because of that, Vidit automatically will be the choice. But Hari would not be a bad choice. He would be a great choice as well. I think both would be a great choice. But Vidit is higher rated right now, so automatically I think Vidit qualifies. Mukesh ka next event is, I think, GCT Zagreb, Rapid and Blitz. That'll be the next event he plays. 1000 games नहीं हारेगा, पर आज हारेगा. नहीं यार, tough है. I think my guess is King G7, Rook D3, and it's a draw. They will repeat the position. Chad, with this game as an Indian draw and Arjun game be draw होने के काफी high possibility. I don't see either guy pushing here. Arjun is optically better, but objectively it's completely even. सोच रहे Arjun though. He's thinking. He's considering all options. भाई अगर आज हमने 5:30 स्ट्रीम चालू कर दी तो कुछ स्ट्रीम करने को होता ही नहीं यार. भाई ये लोग तो बहुत जल्दी में लग रहे हैं मुझे, मतलब ऐसे बोल रहे हैं ना, लाइक दीस गाइस आर इन अ हरी टू एंड द गेम्स. नाइट E5. सो नाइट E5 कह रहे आप. नाइस. तो ये नाइट को ऐसे खेलना किसने सिखाया, मतलब लाइक आई एम क्यूरियस, लाइक हु टॉट द नाइट टू मूव लाइक दिस, लाइक आई एम जेन्युइनली क्यूरियस. आई थिंक यू मीन नाइट D5. बट अगेन दैट्स आल्सो अ ड्रॉ. आई विल जस्ट पिक दिस अप एंड रुक एंड गेम तो वैसी सारी ड्रॉ होती है. Which month? I think Ukesh's next event is on 1st of July, chat. So 1st July, he'll be back. We'll be streaming it, of course, as usual. And uska agla event, you'll see as it comes out. After moves. Okay, so the problem is, let's say you play knight D7. Okay, after knight yahan khela. The problem is, I already have Rook C7 here. So you can't take this pawn because knight is attacked. So you have to play knight E5. I pick up the pawn. And if you take, then white is a pawn up. Ab defend karte baitho bhai is endgame mein. So best you have is knight C4 and you pick this up. But again, like I don't see how this is giving black winning chances. Pawn trade hi ho rahe hain. So if that's the draw you're aiming for, might as well play King G7 and just take the draw. Like there is no way. Gukesh is playing GCT Zagreb, by the way. He is. As far as I remember, I can confirm it for you right now. Who would you pick? I think Arjun is the favorite, right? Because he has the white pieces and also is more in form. His opening prep alone will be tough for Vidit to handle, I think. It's not going to be easy. And he is playing, chat. The lineup for GCT Zagreb is Gukesh, Daniel, Ivan Saric, Nodirbek, Parag, Anish, Maxime, Jordan, Firuzja, and Vincent. So they both are playing. Gukesh did withdraw from GCT, but he promised to play 2 events, one of which he's played, where he played Sindarov. By the way, we have a video coming out very soon, I think tomorrow, jahan Vishy sir went over 3 games that, Gukesh and Sindarov played. So his analysis will be interesting. Do check that out on Chess.com India. Kal aayegi video, I think. And they're still waiting for the move. 18 से 2200 कैसे जाऊं भाई? You will not do it without understanding where you went wrong. One good way to do that is check out game review. अपनी game review देखो कहाँ गलती करी, strategically, tactically, work on those mistakes. Get a coach if you can. That's of course always the best way. बाकी अगर पहुंचना है तो लर्नर सिस्टम सीख लो भाई. लर्नर सिस्टम द बेस्ट ओपनिंग टू रीच 2200. मैं तो पहुंच गया. Okay, I used to play normal also, but yeah, I think that helps because plans are simple. But there's still no moves by Arjun. I think final think by Arjun Erigesi here. He knows कि ये draw होने वाला है. Vidi is playing online tomorrow. What is he playing online tomorrow? Why Abhimanyu and Adogmas getting so many invites? Because they're youngsters. Chad, I think in general, if you achieve something early in life, you have more number of years to reach the top. So I think it's considered as an accomplishment. Like for example, if you complete your 12th standard by age 15, it's like, oh my God, prodigy. If you complete by age 25, oh my God, loser. So I think that changes. And by the King E8, Arjun is still playing on. ही इज लाइक भाई यहां से नहीं आने दिया तो यहां से आ जाऊंगा. बट टेक्निकली व्हाइट कैन स्टिल चेक किंग D7 एंड व्हाई कांट आई प्ले rook F8 or rook H8? Can I play this? Yeah, I can actually. Okay, this is still complicated. White will not even do this, I think. But okay, Arjun is still playing on. That's the good news. He plays on. King 8 is good. King 8 is very good actually. Because he does the same thing without allowing this check. And he wants to play the king here ताकि रुक आगे ना पाए. It doesn't mean that Arjun is winning, but it does mean कि he's still playing on the game. अच्छा, was playing. Okay, got it. Mishra Bhai or Woodward? I would say Woodward is probably stronger, yeah? Because he won Tata Steel Challengers. So I think he's probably much stronger right now. केश एक्सीडेंट भाई, ये कहां से लाते हो भाई? ये पूरा 2024 में अगर कोई प्लेयर ऑफ द ईयर का नाम कोई चूज करे, तुम कार्लसन से जाके पूछो हु वाज द प्लेयर ऑफ द ईयर इन 2024, वो केश ही बोलेगा. सो एक्सीडेंट ना एक बार होता है भाई, पूरे साल नहीं होता. इफ आई यू नो स्पेंड मनी रेकलेसली, ठीक है, मैं तो वैसे फालतू ही खर्चे कर रहा हूं, एक बार बीवी बोलेगी हाँ भाई चलो गलती कर दी. अगर पूरा साल करूंगा तो बीवी कहेगी ना भाई यू हैव अ प्रॉब्लम. यू हैव अ क्लियर प्रॉब्लम. Is it title today? That's why early draws. I mean, there is title today, but I don't think MAMEDYAROV or NODIRBEK are considering playing it. Like they don't always play, right? I don't think that's the reason. Anyways, that's at 8:30, 9:30. So बहुत time है. Virajmi title today नहीं. Okay, no, Mukesh ने अच्छा खेला रहा था. Yeah, he played very well. He played well in 2024. But there's still no moves by MAMEDYAROV. Let's see what happens. Nubek and Arjun have already qualified with the CCT rankings though. You mean for EWC, yeah? All I'm saying is Mukesh is yet to hit his peak. I agree. Who was the player who for 2025? I think it's debatable for 2025. I would say Fabi because he had a great 2025. Prag could also be arguably, I think Prag maybe is the one, yeah, because he did win the fittest circuit. So I would say even Prag, I think. 2025. Although it's debatable for 2025. Magnus also comes in, he played well and so on. But 2024, so there was no doubt. Like one guy comes to mind, I think. 2026 देखते क्या होगा. This game has already ended draw chat. It's already over. So we are looking at the remaining game of Arjun, which is also moving towards the draw right now. मुमिदरफ की शक्ल पे वही बची आंखों में. क्या यहाँ पे कुछ हो सकता है? नहीं हो सकता. Tiko Bhai Sajidao, who will join Arjun, Prag, Nihal, Ukesh? I think it's going to be Vidit right now. That seems to be the obvious answer. Do you think they should get the award for Khel Ratna with Divya? I think it depends, right? Because I'm not aware of the qualification criteria. Is it for, I think he got it already, no? Or no? He did get something. No. I think maybe Arjun got something. I think Arjun got Arjun award, right? I think so. I don't know. My memory is kind of vague on this. But of course he deserves it. There's no doubt about it. But do they consider accomplishments which are not in the last 365 days or no? Because last year he's not played much. So if they go back, a year or more, then yes. But in the last year, I don't think he's played enough to warrant it. So I don't know कि क्या qualifications है उसकी. Anish made a comeback from 2-7-5. Exactly. And by the way, look at this. He's about to play check. He plays check. King d7 only move, by the way. King e7. There is rook c7 check. White wins. So only move is king d7. Arjun cannot go wrong here. Of course, he will not go wrong. It's an obvious move. Plays it. And now, oh, white goes for the race. Bhai. Interesting. So दोनों प्लेयर्स ने ड्रॉ को इसे बोलते ना इग्नोर कर दिया भाई पूरा. So the game is not going to end at 6 p.m. My prediction, unfortunately, was wrong, I think. So now rook a3, I think, is the move. Rook takes h6. And now knight is hanging. So king e7 makes a lot of sense. And now you want to create a pass pawn. And I think h4 is the best because instantly आप g5 की तैयारी कर रहे हो. And to be honest, if I had to choose a color, I might even choose white. Like, I mean, it's dead equal, yeah? He takes the pawn. Let's see how it goes now. I think Arjun playing very quickly. Bring it on, both saying to each other. Exactly, Shashank bhai. I think you summed it up very well. They're like, okay, ठीक है, तुझे खेलना तू खेल, तुझे खेलना तू खेल. डबल गोल पॉसिबल है, बिल्कुल पॉसिबल है. आई थिंक वुमेन्स में ना, लेकिन एक प्रॉब्लम है. विल चाइना सेंड देयर बेस्ट टीम? If China sends their best team, I think it's going to be very, very tough because I think their team is very strong. Like they are just absolute like goats, I think, in the women's section. So I think वो एक big factor है. Will China send their A team? Last time नहीं भेजी थी. So we won. उस पर depend करता है बहुत कुछ. By the king e7 played. Let's see what happens now. Okay, he plays h4 as expected. And actually, okay, he takes. There was also knight g8 apparently, which is nice. Kind of trapping the rook, so to speak. But okay, ठीक है. I mean, simple chess. Yeah, you don't need to complicate stuff which isn't require it. Okay, this is done. So what does he do now? Rook h4 should be the move. G5 also possible. China can win double goal also. China का double goal मुश्किल है. I think Yu Yangyi, Ding Liren, both not in peak shape. Liu Shanglai is already 2600. So I think China के chances goal के बहुत कम है. But women's में, I think they are the clear favorite. Like it's not even like a debate. So we'll have to see how it goes. I think we come to the Olympiad chat. I think September is the time. Of course, we still don't know if Hikaru is playing. That's the big one for me, man. That's the big one. September में September में Olympiad. That's the plan at least. Is Hans playing? Hans is playing the Olympiad. He's confirmed his participation as well. So वो भी खेलेंगे. Hans is also playing here. By the way, brief look at his game. ठीक है, I mean, c6 pawn weakness, but then a pawn could also be weak. So roughly balanced, I think. Black will, yeah, roughly balanced position. Nothing crazy happening. Also going to the game of Nepo, who was worse, but now seems to have equalized. Black ke paas, similar to NODIRBEK, has these outside pawns. So he should be okay now. Finally going to, again, the Arjun game, जहां पे he has 50 minutes on his clock. भाई साहब 50 मिनट लेके बैठा है अर्जुन. Tiva, thank you for attention to comments. Of course, bhai, I think always. I think that's our goal, yeah, to read as many comments as possible. Even when we have a co-commenter, Sahaj bhai ho, Rakesh bhai or somebody else, we always try to read as many comments as possible. Hikaru won't play because he usually doesn't support him according to him and he doesn't want to do so. I mean, it depends. He did say it in an interview during, I think, the candidates. That's why I feel he might consider it. He's played it before, by the way. He's done it before, so that's why I think it is possible. Saria, would you favor 30 minutes extra time for 40 moves? Just increment. I don't like the extra 30 minutes. I think once we reach the time pressure phase, we should stay in time pressure. That makes it much more entertaining to watch. So I personally disagree. There should be any additional time. In fact, I also like the Norwich setup कि कोई increment है ही नहीं 40 चाल तक. So even if you want to keep increment, I would still keep just, 90 minutes for 60, for 90 minutes plus 30 increment. That's it. Khatam. By the way, best play to h4. And now what does black do? I think 97, 95 is the plan. A5 is a simple plan. You have a pass pawn. Let's push it. Makes a lot of sense.
यो टिको भाई.
ओ राकेश भाई, वेलकम वेलकम. राकेश भाई, आज का दिन थोड़ा छोटा लग रहा है भाई.
भाई सच्ची ऑल्सो माय अपॉलॉजीज फॉर जॉइनिंग लेट. 2-3 पेंडिंग काम थे, बट ओवरऑल इट्स गुड न्यूज फॉर इंडिया. आपको बताता हूँ, मतलब अपने टीम के लिए. सो
Agreed. And I think लग रहा है कि भाई मतलब VIDIT drew against NODIRBEK. That's a great sign. He got off on the scoreboard. आधा point आ चुका है. NODIRBEK, the top seed of this event. And now Arjun got a comfortable draw with the black pieces, against MAMEDYAROV. Now he's the one trying to play a pass pawn. So आज काफी calm day, but काफी बोलते ना convenient day. No stress. एक शिकन भी नहीं आई माथे पे किसी प्लेयर की, इंडियन की.
बिल्कुल. और टिको भाई, इट्स इम्पोर्टेंट ऑल्सो कि विदित वाज ऑन 0, सो गॉट ऑफ द मार्क लाइक यू मेंशन्ड. और अर्जुन के भी ब्लैक थे. सो मतलब चैट एंड टिको भाई बताइए, लाइक बिफोर द डे स्टार्टेड, आई थिंक वी बोथ एंड वी ऑल वुड हैव टेकन दीज टू रिजल्ट्स.
Agreed. I think Vidit needed that half a point, and black same MAMEDYAROV to draw enough comfortably is a confidence boost. And I think they could have taken a draw in multiple ways. Arjun khelta raha with this move king to e8, so still had some faith he could repeat. Yeah, king g7, rook d3 was a repetition, but he really wanted to play on. And now we've entered this position jahan pe the rook has gone to the king side, and we're seeing these exchanges, but it doesn't mean anything. Of course, white has the bishop that helps the white pieces because you can stop the pawn, promote the pawn, but black is the one who has an instant passed pawn, so completely balanced.
Yeah, agreed. I think Arjun thinking a little bit, or 40 move के बाद they'll get half an hour extra, but looks like दोनों player को extra time की जरूरत बिल्कुल भी नहीं है.
Yeah, hopefully they don't use it, Rakesh bhai, वरना फालतू में stream चलेगी, and then of course Samay bhai will be very happy, but I would rather have the draw and come quickly. Yeah.
सेम भाई. चैट को लगेगा कि समय भाई को ना मतलब आवरली सिस्टम पे है, तो बट नहीं, समय भाई को मजा आता है जस्ट टू प्रोड्यूस अमेजिंग कंटेंट. एंड या, टुडे माइट बी वन ऑफ दोस डेज.
Agreed. And Arjun काफी सोच तो रहा है, मतलब ऐसा लग रहा है कि he's genuinely going deep into the position. And the question is, Rakesh bhai, ki would you rather create a pass pawn instantly, or would you try to reroute the knight maybe to a better square, because maybe g5 is incoming, तो move तो करना ही पड़ेगा.
या, मूव तो करना ही पड़ेगा. आई थिंक अर्जुन जस्ट हैविंग अ लुक कि भाई a5 से स्टार्ट कर लो या पहले नाइट का कुछ देख लो, मे बी रीराउट इट टू d7 e5 करके. So two very good options. And while I think before just I joined, I was watching the stream. आप बोले कि Hans Niemann is guaranteed to play the Olympiad US के लिए. So we can have a quick look at his game, but from yesterday. Because I think we ended the stream after Arjun won. But if you can go to his game yesterday, Tiku bhai, and थोड़ा सा पीछे आएंगे. याद है ये Gukesh also defended this very nicely against Vincent Tiger. But in this game, if you go to move number 83, and we can give this position to chat, ki queen e7 check, king f3, and now queen f6 check khela black ne.
Wow, blue arrow ने reveal कर दिया राकेश भाई. But he had an instant draw. Queen f7, instantly forcing stalemate. Wow.
Beautiful. And एंड में शामसुद्दीन वोकी तो जो पिछले साल खेले थे ओलंपियाड, पिछले 2 बारी फॉर उज्बेकिस्तान, he lost the game and Hans got that win, and suddenly Hans is also on 1 out of 2. So वो ना कहीं वो luck की factor काफी genuine है. Now of course white is 2 pawns up and white won the game, but imagine that draw, and Hans कितना frustrate होता अगर black वो ढूंढ लेता तो.
Agreed. एंड ऑल्सो बाय द वे जो मदमीनो जो लीड कर रहे हैं टूर्नामेंट, ही इज एक्चुअली वर्स यहाँ पे. आई डोंट नो, वेट व्हाट जस्ट हैपेंड. नहीं, इक्वल है. वेट व्हाट, आई थॉट इट्स वर्स. द बार
नहीं,
शोज
क्वीन
इट्स वर्स.
के बाद E6 आ रहा है ना शायद.
हाँ, आई डोंट थिंक वी हैव द लाइव पोजीशन एक्चुअली, बिकॉज आई थिंक बोर्ड पे
हाँ,
कुछ और पोजीशन है जो मुझे दिख रही है. हाँ, यू सी इट गॉट अपडेट वेरी क्विकली. Ah,
या
yes, this is the live position. And so it feels like कि Vokidov might just get the point here, Rakesh भाई, कल नहीं मिला तो.
ही मिस्ड आउट ऑन बाय. और वो क्या ब्यूटीफुल फीलिंग है ना, लॉस्ट पोजीशन में अब क्वीन सैक्रिफाइस दे रहे हो एंड यू आर फोर्सिंग स्टेलमेट. बट या इट इज नेसेसरी फॉर वॉकिडो टू पुश अ लिटिल इन दिस गेम एंड सी. भाई क्या पता सिंदारो का सेकंड जो है मादामिनो यहाँ पे ब्लैक पीसेस के साथ, he might just run away and be the surprise winner.
Totally. And I love his shirt though. I think काफी chess pieces बने, क्या बना है, but meanwhile pressure में
हाँ,
लग रहे हैं बहुत. And going to the Arjun game, जहाँ पे we have a move, Rakesh भाई, after GH4, Rook
98.
H4, Knight E8 played.
Interesting. Abhinav पूछ रहे what about Vidit's game? Vidit drew by very comfortably actually with the white pieces. So I would say getting off the mark. Still, I mean, I think probably he gains a couple of rating points, right, Teku?
Yes, he gains 1 point, so he's now
हाँ.
2699.5 or something like that.
ओए.
So so एक गेम और जीतनी पड़ेगी आई थिंक उनको, या फिर एक हायर से ड्रॉ करना पड़ेगा टू रीच 2700. बट या, ही इज
हम्म.
देयर, ही इज देयर, ही इज ऑन पाथ, ऑन कोर्स. मीनवाइल यहाँ पे क्या करेंगे वाइट? आई थिंक G5, कीपिंग ऑल द पॉन्स ऑन डार्क स्क्वायर्स, कॉम्प्लीमेंटिंग द बिशप मेक्स अ लॉट ऑफ सेंस. Also black otherwise would love to, if rook dances around, then rook p3. Rakesh bhai, the only way Arjun I feel he wins is if he can win this pawn without giving one of the pawns. That's the only way he wins this.
हाँ, win the game, right. But I would say दोनों ही players would be actually rather happy with the draw as well. But मुश्किल लग रहा है for any side to break through barring a blunder.
या इनफैक्ट यहाँ बहुत रेपिटेशन दिखा रहे हैं हमारे सिलिकॉन जी. कह रहे हैं G5, Knight D6, Rook H7 with the idea, the strong idea of G6, King F8, check, King E7 here, and this is the kind of repetition they are going for. So this could still end very, very soon. Depends on the
Yeah.
kind of tolerance for risk that Arjun has, which we know is very high, Rakesh bhai. अगर अर्जुन पे छोड़ देंगे तो ये तो 3 घंटा ही मैच चल सकता है अभी.
भाई आराम से, मतलब फिर तो मजे ही मजे है समय भाई के. बट आई एम होपिंग नहीं चलेगा. एंड चैट में कोई बहुत अच्छा चीज बोल रहा है कि आज का तो ड्रॉ हो गया, बट राकेश भाई, टिकू भाई, टुमारो इज अर्जुन वर्सेस वीडी. दैट्स अ बिग
Yeah,
वन.
that's a huge one, and I think black होंगे विदित के, so the pressure that he's faced in this event will continue. तो अर्जुन कुछ क्रेजी प्रेप करके आएंगे, एंड वीडी हैज टू बी ऑन हिज गार्ड. कल ड्रॉ भी लेंगे तो ही इज बैक टू 2700. दैट्स द गुड न्यूज़.
करेक्ट. Yeah, and if Arjun wins, he probably extends his lead or goes into the sole lead. So everything to play for. But एक चीज टिकू भाई बुरा लग रहा है जो अपन ने कल भी डिस्कस किया था. विदित को तो फर्स्ट राउंड ब्लैक, सेकंड राउंड ब्लैक, आज दोनों हारे. आज व्हाइट मिले, थोड़े स्टेबल खेला, ड्रॉ करी. चौथे राउंड में फिर से ब्लैक, दैट टू अगेंस्ट द मैडमैन अर्जुन.
Yeah, it's a hard pairing. It's a hard pairing, I think. वो किस्मत कभी खराब होती है. You can't do anything about it. But I think maybe
अनफेयर
second half.
लगता है ना.
It is. I think also like Arjun also had this. I think in Tape Sigban, he had black against NODIRBEK, he had black against Magnus, he had black against a Dogmas. But somehow I think he drew all those games. Like उन्होंने manage कर लिया. So I think it can go your way also sometimes if you are in good shape. But playing after a while, I agree with you. I think the pairing was a bit unfortunate. But if he can draw tomorrow, he's back to 2700. By the way, G5 played Rakesh bhai. We might see that repetition. By the way, Knight D6. I'm guessing that was the plan of Knight E8, yeah, to bring it here.
For sure. क्योंकि Knight G7 जाओगे तो चैट, the same idea doesn't work क्योंकि Rook H7 and अभी आप Knight F5 खेलोगे तो G6 आ रहा है. So I don't think this is
Lost.
bad. So Arjun D6 से आएंगे इस तरफ से. Also keeping an eye out on the queen side, अगर जरूरत पड़ी तो Knight F5 तो मेन थ्रेट है ही. and we
Played.
actually might see that repetition. Oh,
Possible.
played,
And
played.
now, yeah, on the board. And I love how Arjun plays quickly. He can take time here if he wants to, but he's calculated well.
Hmm.
He has faith in his intuition and his calculation both. And that shows that he's very confident. He could thought for like 5 minutes here, but takes 1.5 minutes, 1 minute, 25 seconds, and plays the move he planned to.
Yeah, I think it might be heading down that repetition. Otherwise, if you don't go rook h7 as white, क्या खेलोगे? मतलब आपके पास आपका प्लेइंग साइड या आपका पूरा एक्शन तो राइट साइड ऑफ द बोर्ड पे है. अगर आप चिल करोगे तो अर्जुन विल स्टार्ट पुशिंग. a5 खेलेगा, a4, a3, एंड कहीं लेने के देने ना पड़ जाए एयरडॉगमस के कोच मामेडियारो को.
Agreed. I think यहाँ दो ही plan है. Either you go for this plan or you try to bring the
Hmm.
rook here and then slowly push these pawns. But I feel like without the rook support, ये plan is just hopeful chess from white. So
हाँ.
I agree with you. I think rook h7 is the move. Indian एक e4 चाल खेल रहा है. I personally don't like that move because I block my bishop like this and then कल को ये e5 pawn and suddenly knight coming to f4 and then this will get scary at some point. So I think rook h7 repetition is what makes the most sense to me also, Rakesh bhai.
Yeah. So it doesn't hurt Mamedyarov or anyone actually अगर draw हो रहा है तो. So तीसरा round है, it's not like must win for anyone. So probably rook h7 would be on the board pretty soon. But we'll see what he comes up with.
भाई सिंदारो भाई इन द चैट कह रहे हैं टिकू भाई मेक मी मोर टू टैकल स्पैमर्स इन चैट. हमें पता है सिंदारो भाई चैट देखते हैं हमारी. इज इट द रियल सिंदारो भाई? बिकॉज टिकू भाई बोला है उन्होंने, मतलब डेफिनेटली रियल.
या फॉर श्योर. आई थिंक वो बहुत अच्छा हिंदी भी बोलता है सिंदारो जी. थोड़े बहुत वर्ड सीखे थे जब भी एक महीना रुके थे वर्ल्ड कप के टाइम में इंडिया में. सो also एक
साहिब यू
फन
कैन.
फैक्ट है टिको भाई.
हाँ
बोलो.
नहीं नहीं, कुछ नहीं.
Go ahead.
Oh, he played this. Who gets
अच्छा.
it on the board, Rakesh bhai?
Let's go, bhai.
Bye.
We might be seeing a draw in this one.
Agreed. Sawal chat ka, can you describe the type of playing style Nihal Sarin has? Haven't seen him play classical much. I think, Rakesh bhai, would love to get your opinion also. I think you've also observed him for many, many years. I think he loves, it's very hard to say, like, online chess में हमने ज़्यादा देखा है उनको. So I think our opinion is kind of, based upon that more than over the board chess.
Very good point. By the way, King f8 played by Arjun. Mamedyarov might check and at least एक बार तो repeat करेंगे, if not all 3 times. But yeah, you have very fair point. Nihal extremely tricky है. He's never, ऐसा एक सीधा गेम नहीं देखोगे आप उनका. बहुत ही ज्यादा tactics होंगे, tricks होंगे. Because of his online games, he manages to defend a lot of positions where he's in a minus position. So that's one of his strengths. But overall, he was like Vo or Prag were like the golden poster boys. Suddenly Gukesh पीछे से काफी आगे निकल गए. Prag is also on the top. But कहीं ना कहीं निहाल का ना वो एक spurt नहीं आया था 2700 के अंदर until last year. But a great news for India is, Tikuba and chat, that has changed. In fact, now Nihal is higher rated than Vidit as well. And I think guaranteed है comfortably Indian Olympiad team में दिखेंगे आपको उज्बेकिस्तान में.
Agreed. And by the way, in this position now, after rook h8 check, king e7, rook h7 would be an instant draw. So Arjun का एक ही मौका है. He can actually put the king here now. But then black has rook d8. And after knight f5, there is bishop h5 and rook d7. So, you have to be cautious. And he repeats, by the way, they're repeating. Oh, wow. Knight d6, rook h7, king f8, rook h8, king e7, rook h7. And they're repeating. Let's go full screen.
Handshakes incoming chat maybe. And there we go.
And that is the most comfortable draw of all time, Rakesh bhai.
Most comfortable draw, probably one of our quickest streams as well. मतलब मेरा कैमियो तो भाई रोहित शर्मा की बैटिंग था इसमें.
नहीं भाई, I think देर आए दुरुस्त आए. I think जिंदगी टाइम में नहीं भाई इम्पैक्ट में मेजर की जाती है. And I think यहाँ पे impact was amazing. And you can see Arjun was very happy with the draw. He saw कि white had some great plans here and he didn't want to risk it. And इसके साथ ही chat, both the games have ended. So Arjun has drawn today's game against Mamidarov, a good result. Black से completely neutralized कर दिया, and Vidit draws against Nodirbek. Again, a good result, Rakesh bhai, I feel.
Absolutely, absolutely. With it getting off the draw, Arjun drawing comfortably with the black. And shout out to Majestic in chat, who's mentioning 99% accuracy by Arjun. That's very
Wow.
impressive.
Wow, that's very good. And that tells you कि stockfish के बराबर 99% chess खेला है उन्होंने. That is insane. So chat, ये था shortest stream in a while. 2 घंटा. And we're going to see you tomorrow now with the Indian games. By the way, just to update, I think Yakubov की game draw चल रही है hand से. Nicholas Nepo also looks like a draw. Vokilov is the only one who's potentially winning, and Madaminov might lose his lead. So इसका मतलब Arjun, Nodirbek, and Madaminov might be the ones in a 3-way lead
Yeah.
after round number 3. So Rakesh bhai, thanks a lot for joining. Sai bhai, thanks a lot for the amazing broadcast. I know आप दुखी हो गए, stream लंबी नहीं चली, but maybe tomorrow is your day, Samay bhai.
Right,
Thank you chat for
tomorrow is
joining. हाँ,
India versus sorry, Indian game. So Arjun versus Vidit होगा. बहुत मजा आएगा कल. Do join us and take it away.
yeah, see you chat tomorrow with a hopefully longer stream. Thank you for joining. Good results for Arjun and Vidit. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care and good night.